Good evening, and welcome to the 6th of May version of the Kennebunkport Planning Board. We have 5 items on the agenda this evening. There's 4 of us here, which constitutes a quorum. Begin with attendants, John, Rick, George, and myself. So welcome. Did you all have a chance to look at the agenda, the minutes from the previous meeting?
Yes.
John, I know you did. You had some errata, and we all satisfied?
Yes.
Can I have a motion?
I move that we accept the minutes as revised.
Second?
In favor? Okay, 4-0. And we'll move along to the first of the 5 items, which is a continued initial, is my mic on? You hearing me
Yes.
fine? Yeah. Okay. Initial review continued for 57 Old Cape Road.
Good evening, board members. This is on, yes. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to return to you. This is our second meeting in front of the board with this particular project. It is a major, though I thought it was originally a minor, subdivision amendment. Oh, let me back up. I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Jim Logan. I'm a wetland scientist, professional wetland scientist. I am a licensed site evaluator designing leach beds for approximately 40 years in the state of Maine, and I'm a licensed soil scientist as well. I've been coming before this board for almost all of those 40 years.
And you're representing the owners, yes?
And I represent the Philbrick family, that's correct.
Nice.
Background for the board, there was an existing original dilapidated mobile home on this, what was an initial single lot in a subdivision. This was lot 3 of what was known as the Harrington subdivision. I believe it was not very well, or was not a very thoughtful name for a subdivision, but that's the way they named them back in the 70s. Some background for the board. Again, there was a dilapidated mobile home on the single lot before we came to you with a proposed division. Because it was part of an original subdivision, we're back before you for any additional divisions. The fact that this would result in one additional dwelling makes it officially a major amendment to this original subdivision plan, not minor. And I guess some background, because this had an existing home on it, which was dilapidated and no longer habitable, that was removed. Garrett Philbrick here and his girl, Emily, are working to replace that structure, and that is currently, they're working through code enforcement to do that. So that doesn't affect your review at all, and that essentially is a replacement of the original structure that occupied the entire lot when we, before we got here. So, with that in mind, I guess I just want to provide a little bit of context to the board for this major amendment for this one additional lot. Frankly, the Kennebunkport ordinance is contrived, and it's written basically to contemplate new subdivisions or properties that have vacant, it's just vacant lots, vacant land. So typically we would come to you proposing a brand new subdivision road with infrastructure associated with that. In the 70s, the way they were doing subdivisions, and I would call your attention to the original application, which has a small 8.5 by 11 copy of that subdivision plan. That was an era where nobody did planning. If you were around in those days, there was no planning departments, and people basically laid subdivisions out in the fashion that that one was done. 1,400 plus feet of road frontage on Old Cape Road. We're just going to divvy up lots, and everybody's going to have individual driveways, which is just the way that original subdivision was created. Today, because we are under current subdivision standards and redeveloping but one of those lots, now we have subdivision standards applying to what is essentially an individual house lot. I guess for the purposes of the board and the public, our application has resulted in several requests for waivers, some of them suggested by the planning department. I would like the public and the board to recognize that those waivers are not us trying to get around things or get away with things we're not providing for. They're either not applicable, or in the case where they may be applicable due to the current standards, they're counterintuitive. Hence, probably more waivers than I would ever ask of this board in a newly created subdivision, okay? I wanted to just sort of present that to the board as a background to your decision-making with regard to this specific proposal, which is different than a vacant lot and we're starting from scratch, right? So with that in mind, we're back before you. We have put what I feel is a pretty thorough response to comments brought forth by the planning department. 11 pages worth, by the way, which is, this girl is nothing if she's not thorough for a single lot division. That might be a new record. I would suggest maybe, Nadia, since you prepared this, maybe you could lead us through this?
Sure. So, we read all of the applicants' responses, and agree that, many of our original comments have been satisfied. Currently, the biggest thing that staff is looking for is some more detail about the proposed road improvements. I saw on your updated plans that it was noted that you will be expanding the road to be 18 feet of travel width with 3-foot shoulders. So we would just like to see on the plan where that expansion will have the road laying on the lot, as well as actual dimensions for the turnaround.
Okay, we're in the process of changing from one fire chief to the other. I've been through this process a lot over the years. I wondered if it wouldn't be appropriate. Again, the fire chief, Jay, provided us details of how to satisfy. And basically, it's the 3 criteria right out of your ordinance for low volume access. And there are 3 very simple criteria. I'm attempting to provide sufficient satisfactory.
Can I interrupt for just a second? I'm hearing you may be answering a different question that's being asked, and maybe between the two of you could sort that. I'm hearing Nadia say, I'm reading words that sound like you're answering the question, can you please show it on the plan? And you're coming back saying, my words are good.
That's,
Have I got the gist of it? Or am
so
I
we,
missing something?
the 18-foot travel width and 3-foot shoulders is satisfactory for our subdivision requirements. We would just like to see them placed on the plan so that we can see where the road will be running.
Okay,
It's helpful for us. It also is good for our recordation purposes,
Right.
so that we can see in the past where the road was anticipated to be, and
Right.
that lets us ensure that it is built to the design that was approved.
Understood. I was attempting, if I could, to get away in order to try to minimize the amount of delay time, provide a method that would be satisfactory to the board, that this thing would get constructed according to both the ordinance and to the new chief's satisfaction prior to Lisa doing anything on the other lot.
I'm sorry, you're
Basically,
thinking that the new chief
What do you mean?
will not go along with what you've
No, I'm
agreed to with the?
thinking, no, every individual fire chief I've ever dealt with has slightly different likes and dislikes about turnarounds. Granted, let me read the.
But who did
Jim,
the letter come from? The fire chief?
Jay.
So that's what we're working with.
That's
If you wanna
correct.
wait a while for the
No,
new chief to
no,
come in,
no,
we can
no,
do that too.
let's go back to that chief's letter then.
Okay. I don't
Jim, think
understand
he's-
what you're trying
I
to.
think you
I'm missing it
I
too.
think you're being asked to confirm you're gonna put it on the drawing.
What I was gonna hope to do on the drawing was put a note that literally states that the turnaround would be constructed to the satisfaction of the fire chief.
No.
Whoever
no,
that
just
is.
Put it in the plan.
We
All right.
want you to put on what you just
We will-
said.
I'm not gonna argue with you. We will add it to the plan.
Thank you.
Matter of fact, I think what we're gonna do is not add it to Dave Hughes' survey plan, but we will submit it as a separate, plan, just addressing the roadway construction.
Okay.
So that it's not because Dave's plan is getting too complicated, and it won't be adequately represented on that plan. That's all.
Okay.
You okay with that, right?
That's the reason,
That's fine.
just so you know, that's the reason why I was suggesting it. We'll still give you details, but we'll do it on a separate plan, okay?
When will you do that?
Just as quickly as I can get to it.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll talk in a minute about whether we've got a complete package or not at this point.
Okay.
That's fine.
I just have a quick process question. This is a revision to a subdivision, so this will be a single decision by the board. It doesn't have to then go to a subdivision decision.
Correct.
Right, thank you.
Say that again?
They don't need to do a final application after
Exactly,
this.
correct.
Yes.
Correct.
I would like to remind the board that while we do need to build this road, this driveway, to a standard for subdivisions, it will never go to any more than 2 homes, and as a result, it's like a private driveway. We're being held to the subdivision standard for 2 lots. Any other,
I think we're
it's
past
in a
that,
subdivision,
Jim.
it's in a subdivision, and therefore we are
I think
held.
we're past that now.
So you've
So-
agreed to do that, though?
You've agreed.
Yes,
Okay,
Could you
thank
just carry on then?
your turn, Nadia. We're going through the memo.
The last comment, we only really had 2 comments, one about seeing the road standards on the plan, which Jim has agreed to do. And then we did want to, just, have the board clarify whether they are, what your thoughts are on the flag lot nature. It is something that is in our subdivision standards that we're, that the lots shouldn't be oddly shaped to create the required net residential area. I don't think that that's the intention of the shape of this lot. It's just to provide a right-of-way. But it is something, just wanted to highlight for the board so that we have it in the record and you are aware that that is something that was part of our review.
Yeah, I agree with that, your comment, that I don't think it's they're doing it purposeful. It's just the way that it's.
Or that it's a,
Gerrymandering.
Yeah, my only
for
concern
lack
was
of a
the
better word,
road,
that's what I
so
was looking for.
it's,
It's not an artifice.
Right.
The original lot was already created that way. The only way to
Yeah.
divide it is to
Do what you've done.
cut it in half.
Correct, and I guess if you looked at it in a different light, the lot 3B, which is the one Garrett is building on, the right-of-way is described separately, as a separate entity. And while it is supposed to be included with that lot, it is a separately described thing entirely. Flag lots usually have the land itself underneath the road deeded solely for that lot. And in this case, it's more like an easement right-of-way type of thing. It's not quite exactly the same as a typical flag lot, I would
So
suggest.
to Nadia's point, if I may, the board has no concern with this being a flag lot.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you, board.
That's what you're looking for?
Yep, and then our final suggestion is just a suggestion of a condition that, since this is in the growth area and sidewalks are required in subdivisions, that if it's developed further in the future, so if that right-of-way is used to access development, behind the existing lot, that would be revisited in a future decision, whether or not sidewalks need to be placed. It's a pretty standard condition that we've put in
We would
for
happily do that.
subdivisions in
if-
the-
Should that
Yep.
ever arise. However, there's no sidewalk on Old Cape Road. It would be like building a
Right.
sidewalk to nowhere, but we would make that
This is,
case.
this is essentially a note to a future planning board that, sidewalks weren't put in for a reason. You should reconsider whether they should be put in at this point, now that, this hypothetical, their development is happening behind.
I'll leave it up to the
So
board
thoughts
to
from the
craft
board?
a note that satisfies.
I agree with that, what Nadia just said. Do you?
Yes, it should be in the
I
notes.
agree.
So-
Nadia, do you
so-
wanna
so-
take
so-
it?
So I want to
Excuse me.
add a thought on that. I think that we've had a past practice of, in areas where there are not sidewalks. I know there's no sidewalk along the rest of this subdivision or any of the homes. It's not a character with it. We've waived this. We've deliberately waived this requirement. As Jim pointed out, as you pointed out earlier, this is a subdivision set of regulations that is broad and allows us to cover large 50-home,
Yes.
perhaps even subdivisions, or a subdivision of this nature.
Right.
one that is historical. And so we have, it's not that you're trying to get by without building a sidewalk, it's that it's not appropriate for
Right.
this
Counterintuitive.
thing here.
Thank you.
I think it's up to any future board to go back and revisit that, but I can't imagine, that this board doesn't see any need for a sidewalk at this point. And Nadia, you can add that if you want, we'll go along with that, but it's not something that would have come up in this board. I think it's a concern that's coming out of the planning office, seeing more and more changes coming down the road that may increase the density of zoning in the growth area. And were that to happen, I think there'd be an across-the-board look at whether sidewalks were appropriate and all of the maintenance issues that come with that and
Oh,
the
for sure.
infrastructure issues and the like. And this would be a part of that. So if you want to add that condition, I'm happy with it, but it's not something that we would have done.
Yeah, I think from the planning perspective, what we're seeing is we're allowing future boards to interpret what did your waiver actually mean back then versus the
course.
future. And so I think just giving that clarity moving forward, that yes, they have a waiver right now, but if they want to propose future dwellings, at least we've
Right,
cemented that.
We've certainly, don't want to put anything in the words that prohibits
Right.
sidewalks from being done at some point, but there's nothing that requires it at this point, not from this board.
And in general, I think it's good for the planning office to continue to call out things like sidewalks, because in the future, if there were a larger division, someone comes along and says, well, the board has always just let that slide, without having any discussion,
We
so it's
talked
important to
about
do that. Thanks.
Anything else in the planning memo that you wanted to touch on?
I had no further concerns.
No, there are a number of waivers, as you mentioned, and they all seem reasonable. I don't know if this is an appropriate time to go through them.
Well, I had a couple of questions before that.
Go ahead.
I don't know if anyone else on the board had specific questions. Jim, just for the avoidance of doubt, on the 10th of April letter that came from you to the code office, this was called the Harriman Division. That's a typo, I think. This is the Harrington Division.
Yes, I have it written as Harrington, and it's Harriman.
Well, no, it's Harriman in your memo.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think it's supposed to be Harrington, but
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
I thought I'd push on that just to make sure that we had it right.
I hate to say it, my problem is I've had both of those names as clients, and then,
No, I understand.
Been a lot of
but it's a good,
Harringtons around.
it's a good catch, Ed.
All right. Normally, when we change a subdivision, you amend the subdivision. The plan for the subdivision at the end would show the before and after of the subdivision, of the Harrington Division. Do we have something, or code office, do we need something that shows the updated Harrington Division?
It's on the
Plan.
plan. This is the recordable plan, it's already here. So to the extent that these applications never get recorded, this plan speaks for itself. This
Well,
is
that
correct.
shows me the division of Lot 3.
So are you curious if we need to have the other lots shown on the
Yeah.
plan as well?
Yeah. Or is there another, if we don't need to, that's great, but I'm used to seeing, hey, we came in, we're doing a major division to this subdivision. It's this lot over here, and we're further dividing it. We're focused on that lot now.
So you're looking for a graphic then that shows the original subdivision plan and what
With
we're,
this mod,
okay.
do you have,
We'll
if you
make
have
it.
such a thing and it was added to the.
We haven't done it, but if it's confusing to you, we can certainly make it.
You tell me.
I'll defer to Galen if he disagrees with this, but we, in
Don't need
the
it.
past
Don't
major
make it
revisions,
work.
we have not required a full plan of the subdivision. I think if the board wanted that, I would, maybe just a small, showing of it on the side,
As long
but-
as this refers back to the other document somehow, then I think we have that lineage.
I believe it does say on the plan, division of previously approved Harrington Division X date.
Look on the title block, Ed, over on the right bottom,
Down on the right.
right bottom, right on the title block. No, you're on the left bottom. Right bottom, this is the title block. over here.
Thank you. Subdivision amendment of Lot 3 on a plan Plan of the Harrington Division. Okay. I think you got the lead.
And that's pretty common, that's a pretty common format from what we've seen for
Appreciate it.
previous amendments as well, so I
I'm
think
good
that
with
works
that.
for us.
I'm just worried about it. I asked a question a couple of weeks ago. Where are the lot lines on here? I still, because I'm looking at the setback lines, it looks like I have 2 lots and then I have some land that's not in either one of them.
Let me get up here with you, Ed. I don't know what you're talking about. These solid lines are
That's,
the division lines, right here.
Oh, hold
See
on.
this right here? That's a division line. This dashed line, this is a division line. So
Where-
this is the right of way.
where's lot 3A? Oh,
That's lot 3A. Lot 3, oh, I'm sorry,
how
that's
did you know
3B.
that?
No, that's
Oh, 3B, whatever,
that's
yeah,
3B.
but
This is 3A right here.
from here,
See this dark line right here? That's the division between this lot and this lot.
I see it, it ends here in the middle of the lot.
No, on the edge of the right of way. This is the roadway coming in. See
Which
the
lot
hammerhead right
does,
here?
which
This is the
lot,
hammerhead.
which lot does that piece of land belong to?
According to the land surveyor, let me get back over to the microphone. I talked with Dave Hughes this morning about it. According to Dave Hughes, it goes with Lot 3B, the lot that Garrett is building on. That's what led to the question about a flag lot in the
And-
first place.
And we didn't have any, concerns that the plan was misleading in the code office, so
So you're saying you can look at this and you can see that that right-of-way is part of 3B?
yes.
Oh.
Because if you look at the net residential area calculations on that lot,
Which are where?
So this
Right.
is, so there's, basically there's no line here, so we're using this to.
I didn't see this line.
right here, right here, Ed.
Ah,
Right here's the right of way.
okay.
So it's the entire thing.
So that, and it even says 30,908 square feet right-of-way.
Yes.
That's,
That's because it's
you
reduced
know
from
what?
the
Yeah,
lot.
no, good. I'm glad you're on it. Thank you.
I'm honestly trying to understand here. I'm not trying to beat you up.
Well, I'm trying not to feel like you are.
I know that. That's why I'm saying it so directly, because I'm not. I'm just, I'm learning.
We all are.
You guys already had it figured out. Thank you.
One question. I forgot. On the letter from the fire chief, just came in, it mentions a road maintenance agreement.
Yep, it does, and I'm gonna ask that become also a thing we provide at the time Lisa wants to pull a permit. Because until then, there's no road agreement that's even needed.
That seems to make sense.
Thank you.
You all
Trying
right
for
with that?
some sensibility here.
Galen?
I guess I just question why
Why don't we
we're
make-
waiting
Why don't we make a
to
condition?
submit this until code gets approval. Why wasn't this submitted with the application?
It's just another step that she has to do now that she might be able to kick the can down the road a little bit, that's all. Just because.
I understand.
You know, I guess,
Can we just make it a condition?
that's what I'm
that
saying.
a road,
That's exactly.
that a road maintenance agreement will be provided before permits are issued on lot 3B?
Yeah, you could certainly do that. I'm cautioning that, I am a little bit concerned with change in turnover in, employees at town staff, that this will be missed. And that's why I'm making sure it's not dropped.
Okay,
But
fair point.
If it's on a plan that everybody can read, I don't understand how it could be
We
missed.
put it on there.
What, after the questions I just asked on the plan that had the obvious information on there, didn't I just demonstrate that things could be missed?
Fair response, Ed.
Just saying. So Galen, finish the thought.
So it is the purview of the board, if you would like to consider that as a condition, that's under your jurisdiction to do so.
If the board feels very
We've got
strongly
two
about
people
it, I'll
that are
take it up.
sharing a driveway.
And their family.
We have this all over town.
I've got 3 people on mine and none of them have right of way.
Does the road get cleared?
How did that happen?
Yeah. We figured that out.
Battle it out.
Ancient history.
We're trying not to.
I'd like to
we're trying- We're all
propose,
trying not to repeat old mistakes.
I'd like to propose that a condition be added that road maintenance agreement showing shared maintenance by
We've
the
asked
two
other people
owners
to do that, so it seems to be consistent to do that.
will be provided.
All right.
Okay,
And if
We
it's
can
only
include
two
that.
people and their family, it should be pretty easy, right?
yeah, we'll include that in the findings.
And it's,
Depending on your family.
and it's been pointed out in other applications that there's Maine statute that would enforce that whoever owned that land and could divide up the costs of maintaining it.
I can't get over, Jim, where you were trying to lead us to begin with, which says, I know we're calling this a road, and it's in a subdivision and all of that, but it's a shared driveway, guys.
If it was any other place, until I got 3 houses on one driveway, I don't need anything from the town.
Well, we
It's
know
just-
that
it's
we
in
are
a
a special,
subdivision.
we are a special place.
No, it's
We know that, we recognize it.
It's a subdivision. That was your first mistake.
George, I'm sorry to keep going on and on.
No, it's fine. I've got nothing else.
All right. Do we have a motion then at this point? Oh, we want to go over the waivers?
Go over the waivers.
Okay, let's enumerate the waivers.
I
I think you've done that for us,
Just,
right?
keep in mind, so this was a continued initial review, correct?
Yeah, we're trying to decide whether it's complete or not. Oh, you're saying we don't have to do that?
I would suggest not considering the waivers until after the public hearing.
Public hearing, good point.
But-
Is that
You can
right?
find it
And then
complete
we
if you
don't have
wish.
to
No,
look
I
as
don't.
to whether or not we've covered
I
them all.
believe you're supposed to.
They're covered.
What if on
Okay.
public hearing, someone comes up and says, by gum, I think those sidewalks are the most important thing going in town?
We'll talk about it
We
then.
need to consider that before we review the waivers, Jim.
Yeah.
We've gotten burned a couple of times.
We'll just review it
All right, so
at the
what's
end of the
our
public hearing,
action?
before the findings of fact.
I was in the,
I'm just gonna do that if you.
So I would make a
agreed
motion
to
that this
do?
application is
Oh,
complete.
okay.
thank you.
I would second that.
with the addition of the roadway.
Yeah,
Plan,
Onto the
I-
plans.
Can we just go
Ah.
through the actions we agreed to with Jim before we make sure that,
Let's do that.
okay. I identified 6, Jim. You agreed to provide a drawing of the road to be, that you're gonna construct, right?
Separate plan, not modify the current plan.
And on some drawing, you're gonna show the existing lots.
I thought we'd have decided,
We
According
don't,
to her,
we
we
don't
didn't
need
have
that
to do
for,
that.
Okay on that.
for our
Let's square
purposes.
that
we got.
We do have the original subdivision plan was included in the original application, so it's on the record, and it's noted on the plans that have been provided, so from staff's perspective, that is, a settled issue, it doesn't
glad we
need
went over
further
that.
action.
There's a Harrington versus Harriman, you're gonna find that and correct it, I guess, right?
Do you feel like I gotta change the letter I wrote to you?
That's
that
just
has the typo in
An
it?
error
Is it
in
just-
his,
Again, I think
letter?
that the
A letter,
plan that's
yeah.
recordable is what really.
Okay.
we've confirmed that Harrington is the
I'd say
correct
maybe
spelling.
we can make sure that Lynn captures in the minutes, so that if someone is confused, they can go back and see it, but it's not really it's not a part of the plan
Okay.
per se.
Approval of the plan and permit is based on, okay, thank you, is based on a statement that says sidewalks are currently not required, but if an additional lot is added, they will likely be, or something like that.
The board will consider again whether or not they should be added.
Okay.
So not any, not saying that they will be required, just that the board should reconsider if further development takes
Okay.
place.
And that's not a task
You
for
get the
Jim.
words right.
Yep, and that's for us in the
That's-
findings,
that's-
that's
yeah,
not a
that's all
task for Jim.
All right.
Okay, so that won't appear on the plan as a
Correct.
note, but it will
Correct.
be in the findings. Okay, thank you for my clarification.
And a road agreement is required prior to permit approval?
Yep, and that's also for staff, we'll put that in the findings.
Okay.
No further action from Jim needed for that.
Anything else that I missed?
No, but thank you for doing that. That was very helpful.
For me?
Thank you
At
for
least.
you doing it. No, it was helpful for me,
Yeah.
I think for the board to.
All right,
I
we
think
should
it's
do
good-
that each
Good
time.
practice, thank you.
So
So then,
then-
we have a motion.
Yes, I'll make a motion that we
This is a complete
carry
application.
with these actions.
Yep.
Yes.
Second that motion?
All those in favor?
Thank you, board members.
So I'll do public hearing May 20th?
With the plan submitted to you for
Yes.
your review and okay.
Yep,
of
if
the
you could
road
get that to
extension.
us by next Wednesday, that would be great.
I'll take this lull in the activity to mention to all the good citizens of Kennebunkport that there are openings on the planning board, and we really do need you to participate. It's a lot
You
of
can see
fun,
how much fun we
and
have.
it is fun, and you get to know everything before it happens.
And did we have a case manager on this one?
That would be me.
That's you?
Thank you, George.
Always a pleasure, Jim.
What was the date again of the public hearing?
20.
5:20.
So his documents need to be in by the 13th. Is that what you just said?
That would be ideal. The public hearing is scheduled, so it will go ahead, but, it just gives us time to look over everything.
Yeah, I'll do my best to make that plan available.
Okay.
by then. Okay?
Appreciate it, Jim.
Thanks.
Thanks
All
for your
right,
patience.
thank you.
Next on the agenda, SP 260012 for 37 Langsford Road. This is an initial review.
Hi,
Hi.
Hello.
my name's Tom Faderly. I'm a land use lawyer in Portland. I'll help this gentleman get his easel.
Oh, that's our
his
easel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to be here tonight. Thanks for having us. I'm representing the owner of 37 Langsford Road. In the January storms of 2024, the house got hit hard and flooded. And that was an opportunity to take a hard look at the home and to consider what the best steps were with regards to the property. And the ownership group decided it was time to reconstruct the home, to elevate it in anticipation of future storm surges, which are likely inevitable, and started working with some engineers and with Brian Bodette, a local architect. And the result is the application that we have put in for site plan approval. We're here tonight as an initial review, ostensibly for a completeness determination, but we want to be clear in reaction to the memo, the planning staff memo we got. We feel we're not ready to ask you for a completeness determination. There are some things that we need to address and to do, but our intention is to do those with deliberation, but also to keep moving it forward and get this back in front of you so that you can take this up again and determine its completeness then. What we're dealing with at 37 Langsford is two structures. There's principal home and an accessory structure. Both are lawfully non-conforming structures given their proximity to the marshland, the resource, as well as for the main structure, its proximity to Langsford Road. The result in reconstructing them, we're kind of squeezed on both sides, so to relocate it in a way that's least non-conforming essentially leaves us rebuilding it in place. And there's no significant expansion. There's some expansion proposed, but it's less than the allowable expansion of a non-conforming structure.
Volume?
And volume,
In volume, not in footprint.
in volume and area, correct, sir?
Oh, and in area. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then by elevating the home, we feel like we're doing the right thing in the spirit of managed retreat. That's one way to deal with the rising sea level. We're also proud of an innovative approach that we've put before the Maine DEP on shoreland stabilization. It's an approach that the DEP is still reviewing, but the feedback we've gotten is there's some excitement about it. It's a natural, sort of nature-based approach that the DEP is seeing as might have really good utility in this site, but might have utility more broadly, so they're interested to see it. There has been a lot of churn at the DEP generally, and we've experienced it with this project, so the person assigned to this project as project manager transitioned out. So we're still waiting on approvals from the DEP, but that's in process. I want to clarify one item that was flagged in the planning board memo. I had mentioned in the overview letter of the application, I had mentioned a pier and a float that had been permitted back in 2017. At that same time, a boardwalk was approved to get back to the accessory structure that's on the property. But there was also a separate pier that was approved, was partially constructed, and then it was removed. And so I was referring to that structure. That's no longer part of this application. We're not trying to do that again. The boardwalk that was constructed is still there, and the planning staff is correct that as built, it deviates from the 2017 permit in that it's a foot higher than was permitted, which honestly turned out to be a very good thing. And we have photos in our submission to you of when the bathtub was full, the marsh was full, and in the January storm surges, it was right up to the top of the boardwalk. And had that boardwalk been down a foot further, it likely would have gotten washed out. There were docks that were pressed up against it during those storm events. And I believe there was confusion at the time between what the DEP wanted for an elevation and what the town wanted, and with our contractor. And the contractor ended up building it 3 feet above the marsh, as opposed to 3 feet above the average grade. So the result was the boardwalk is about a foot taller than the town's site plan approval back in 2017. So we plan to address that in our application, bring it to you, showing you its construction as built, seeking essentially after the fact permitting for that. The other part of it that's different from the 2017 is that there is a rope railing system. It does sit up tall over the marsh, and as a safety matter, it has a rope railing, which I think would be required by code, but it was not part of the 2017 site plan approval. So staff flagged that. We think they're correct, that there is a deviation there that we should bring back in front of you, and we'll do it in the context of this existing site plan application.
Make sure I understand.
Yeah.
You're saying, before we decide this is complete, you're gonna make an update to the submittal, and it's gonna show that you are looking to retain the boardwalk, albeit with a couple of modifications from the 2017 approved plan.
That's exactly it.
Okay.
That's exactly it. Thank you. We had proposed pervious surface off-street parking for a couple of cars. I think initially that made sense with conversations with planning staff, but planning staff was correct upon reviewing it and your ordinance's definition of a structure. Those pavers constitute a structure, and we're within 50 feet of the marsh where we were proposing it. So we're gonna remove that. Again, we think it's a shame. There is some congestion there that would be relieved by some off-street parking.
This is the car pad?
It's a car pad.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, with pervious
how you reference
pavers. And initially, we thought that would not constitute a structure that needs to meet the 50-foot setback. But I think in fairness and reviewing your ordinance, it probably is a structure. So we would welcome it
We
if
would
planning
agree.
board members felt otherwise, but we think the planning staff is probably correct on that.
I think they are.
I'm sure they are.
I'm sure they are.
I do want to clarify for the board that we're not considering it a structure. We do have specific language in our ordinance regarding roads and driveways in the shoreland zone. We've had discussions before
Counting as
about
impervious surface.
not even, yes, impervious surface, but we have specific language in Article 5 about roads and driveways, not even just as broad impervious surface, that says that roads and driveways, that the planning board has the ability to allow a road or driveway within the 75-foot setback if there's no reasonable alternative, but not within 50 feet of the resource. So this is not just a broad impervious surface issue, and we've had discussions before about whether driveways are structures, and our interpretation is that they are not structures, but this is specific roads and driveways language in the shoreland zone. So that's where this insight is coming from the planning department.
Is there no driveway now?
There's no driveway now. It's on street parking. at the
I drove
moment.
by there, but I didn't remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is an unfortunate example of two non-conforming choices.
Very close to the road, yeah.
Well, it's interesting because the next case is right across the street,
Right,
and they're gonna potentially bring in additional traffic, so.
yeah.
When I originally reviewed this, I was like, oh, good, they'll have two spots.
Yeah.
But I guess you won't anymore.
Closer to the mic.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, and we saw that as well. We understand the next project that's gonna be in front of you, and, well, I appreciate that clarification, because I assumed that it was based on a conclusion that that was a structure, and that's why it needed to be set back. I'll look at that provision. I don't know if there's any room for a bump out and car, that would get you a little bit off the road, parallel to the road. I'm assuming the answer is probably no, but we'll try and get creative to see if there's some other way to get the cars off street, which generally is a good thing.
So I'll just caution you that one of the reasons Nadia was so careful to point out the basis of the objection not being because it was a structure, and that they
Yep.
believe that a structure is, that the driveway is not a structure, is because certain members of the board do believe that driveways most clearly meet the definition of a structure. So you will not find that universally accepted
Fair
by
enough.
the board, just
I think it's a fair debate.
before you go
And-
down.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Read
in
the words.
particular, read the shoreland zoning, because that has special restrictions on it.
With regards to driveways.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What will the height be after all this work? Will the height of the house change? Are you raising it up?
Yes.
So
it's-
what will be the ultimate height?
Do you remember, Colin? Overall elevation,
I believe it was in the application, but it was certainly in the building plans.
yeah.
If you could use
Yeah,
the
I'm
mic and
looking at it
introduce
now.
yourself.
I need to add it all up.
Or either that or you repeat what he's saying.
Yeah, so,
No, it's fine.
why don't you give us a minute, Colin will identify that. We did determine it, and I can't remember as I'm standing here, the overall elevation change. It stays well below your height limit.
That's what I needed to know.
Yeah, that much I know and can tell you. And then I can't remember the delta between what it is today and what it'll be post-construction.
Okay. And
So it
you've got
looks like it's 21 feet on the plan,
Which page? are you
on sheet A2, A2.1.
I'm gonna trust you.
That's the proposed height?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
thank you.
And I'm sure DEP is gonna find this innovative, but they're gonna have to weigh in. That's an awful lot of fill right on the shore, right? Where you're proposing a completely new grade, you're going up several feet.
So one of the things this planning staff asked for was a more granular grading plan, which we will get to you.
Okay.
But actually, no, the grading change is pretty subtle.
Okay.
We're using a system that uses organic material that's inside a mesh tube that then is stacked. So it's terraced a little bit, but it's working with the existing grade.
Okay.
So we'll get you, as part of this next submission, we'll get you a more detailed grading plan.
Thank you.
And then I wanted to address the accessory structure that's the back building, and this might be helpful to have a dialogue too, because what I was understanding from the planning memo was a comment that overnight accommodation there would be a change of use, and I think I disagree with that in that this is a residential lot, and this is an accessory structure to that residential use, and we're not changing the use. We're not converting to a commercial use, for example. We're staying as a residential use. I recognize there's a concern or a sense that there hasn't been much overnight accommodation, and in the last 5 years there has not been, but it's still part of our residential lot. So I don't think the use has changed, and what we're hoping you'll consider is maybe a better condition of approval for the back building is to limit it that it can't be a dwelling unit. We can't fit it out and finish it so that it's an independent dwelling unit as defined in your ordinance. We could have a condition that it can't be an accessory dwelling unit. We could live with a condition that it won't be rented. It won't be an Airbnb or a short-term rental. What we'd like to avoid is a restriction that says nobody can ever sleep there. Just this scenario of grandchildren rolling out sleeping bags and spending the night would be a weird thing for a code officer to come enforce. But if we put it up on Airbnb, that would be a real easy thing for the code officer to see and to come enforce. So we'll put all of that in writing, but that's how we would like to approach the accessory structure in the back.
Code office, examining a sleepover would be creepy.
Agreed.
So what is the historical use of this outbuilding?
It has most recently, by the couple who bought it, who are my clients, it's a husband and wife. The wife has passed since they bought this property. She was the driver to buy this property, and what really drew her to this property was that back building. She's an artist, or was an artist. She spent a lot of time in it as a studio. Mm-hmm. It was not in the shape that she envisioned it being in, and they always envisioned rehabbing it. But she actually did sleep there as well, my client reported. Primarily to understand the lighting in the light that it gets, because it gets beautiful light.
Is there electricity or plumbing out of this building?
There has been, there currently is not.
When you say has been, I mean, this is in the 1920s or 6 years ago, or is there an electric line that runs out there? Is there a septic? Toilet,
so
sink?
it looked as though we've struggled to identify where the existing utilities are. There is evidence of sewer lines coming out. I don't know if Galen or Nadia know better, whether that was ever hooked up to town sewer, or if it was direct discharging.
Town sewer and Langsford. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah, there is town sewer there, yeah, and town water.
To the primary lot, to the primary structure.
Yeah, and there's evidence of, I mean, there's a bathroom in the back building that had plumbing.
There's evidence of an old connection to that back structure, but that structure has been since it's disintegrated. It's not.
Old knob and tube
It's
stuff.
not been connected for quite some time.
Okay.
I think that's fair. We were hoping to be able to identify exactly, and we haven't been able to.
Can we,
Yeah.
just Galen or Nadia, say a little bit about why this would not be appropriate for residential use, starting from scratch even today, and what it means to be residential use if in fact it's not a dwelling unit. It doesn't have a kitchen, it doesn't.
And also change of use.
Right, so I think you should look at the definition for accessory structure. So is it incidental to the primary use in the property?
Like an art studio is
Yeah,
what
I mean,
I
it
would
was
go
something that was just, incidental, occasional.
Would
It's
that
not.
be residential?
No.
No.
That would be incidental to the it'd be incidental to the residential use on the property.
So that would be fine.
Yes.
If-
Yeah,
okay.
you're not overnight, you're not doing any
What does it mean to
sleeping.
be a residential use then, that would be of concern? I assume part of the concern is that this is in the resource protection zone?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's a non-conforming structure, you know, from staff's perspective here, this has not been connected for quite some time,
and it would not be allowed to be connected today.
unless they get approval from DEP. I'm not sure how they would approve. Because it's not connected right now.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
Have you asked for approval from
Yes.
DEP for
Yeah.
plumbing?
Yes, for
Wastewater.
water and sewer. And there too, we took an innovative approach of working from the basement of the main structure when that's being reconstructed and cross-boring below the marsh to avoid the resource altogether. The alternative is to run water and sewer across the bottom of the boardwalk, but given the storm event in 2024 and what we saw from that, there was good argument.
Sounds like a disaster waiting. to
Yeah,
happen.
that's potentially a disaster waiting to happen. And so the better approach, we thought, which was the more expensive approach, but we thought it was the better approach, was to bore underneath and bring it from Langsford Road, or from the basement of the main home on Langsford Road, back to that building.
Or to not do it at all.
Yeah, though that's not our proposal. We'd
That's not the
like,
vision.
yeah, that certainly is important that structure have
So let me
those
ask you-
utilities.
Let me ask the code office this. In terms of it being an accessory apartment, is that the right structure?
It's an accessory structure.
Could it have plumbing? That's not a change. In other words, this could be approved as an accessory structure?
It can be approved as an accessory structure. We are stating that it shouldn't be used as habitation because of the risk of it being rented and occupied full-time. It's supposed to be incidental in nature,
Ah,
and it's non-conforming on the lot. You couldn't build this close to the water
No,
in
And-
Kennebunkport.
or do so.
Correct.
And we agree with that. We agree with that.
yeah, I'm making sure that I'm
Yeah.
trying to make sure that we're all on the same page here with respect to what the real concerns
Yeah,
are.
and our approach to addressing that was what I said of, expressly prohibit Airbnb or any kind of rental of that, expressly prohibit our fitting that up with a stove and a range and turning it into an independent dwelling unit, or coming back and asking that it be considered an ADU. We're not asking for any of that. So those, we think, would all be the right conditions that would get to the concern that this remain accessory.
So you're gonna get information back from the DEP in terms of their willingness to go along with this, and you're gonna have continued discussions with the code office,
Yes.
who has purview here.
Yes. So as part,
You know, the planning board's not gonna override, is not in a position to override the code office on any of this.
sure,
All right.
sure.
Right, and it's premature probably for us to even be having this conversation about water out there, because it's not up to us. Well, I mean, it is, but once you get approval,
Yeah,
that's a different story. If you don't get
Yeah.
approval, it's a
Yeah.
waste of.
Even if DEP goes along with it, the code office is probably gonna look to us in the public hearing that goes with it.
yeah, and,
Is the boring, let's say that DEP thinks it's great, or somebody thinks it's great, and you bore through.
Yeah.
You've now got a sewer line out this accessory structure. Where am I going with this? How do I ask this?
In the resource zone.
In the resource zone, but it gets approved. Is that an issue for construction permit? Or is that an issue for the board? If we acknowledge that this boring is a great idea because everybody else says so, does that automatically mean that it can be done with a building permit? I'm not sure where our approval for something like this fits into the rest of the process for actually executing.
yeah, we'll need, I think that's maybe a question of code, but I'll just clarify that I think everyone recognizes, we're also gonna need that Natural Resource Permit Act approval from the DEP to do that. And then if we do, then yes, that'd be part of our construction, our building permit application to the code office for rebuilding both structures and the utilities associated with them, that would all be subject
You're
to
gonna, your
review.
proposal will have one of the structures being rebuilt as a single-family residential structure, and the other will be an accessory structure.
Correct.
Are you
Would-
rebuilding,
That's
you're
what I'm
not
hearing.
rebuilding the accessory structure?
No, we would be doing that
You're
as well.
rebuilding the accessory
Yep.
structure, though, okay, right,
Yep.
right,
In,
and that's
in
why,
its current location.
It's-
yeah.
Yep, and I want to recognize another thing that staff caught, which they were correct, again. In reconstructing a non-conforming structure under your ordinance, you have a little allowance for expansion. This is out on a peninsula, and we
Yeah.
pulled it back from the resource on one side, but we ballooned out on another. That brought us closer to the resource on that side. And I'm embarrassed that I missed it, but I missed it. Your staff, of course, caught it. So we're gonna redesign that so that it's not doing that.
We'll
But
we'll be fixated on not making it any more non-conforming with respect to being over the limit of what you've already covered in the resource protections.
Right.
Right.
Right. And I think even with the utilities, the sewer and water, there's no doubt that this is incidental both in scale to the principal structure, and the use is incidental to the primary use of the home. And, you know, that can be a condition as well. If somehow the tail started wagging the dog and the back building became,
You're talking about conditions, but I think, as I'm reading this comment that was levied by the code office, they're just cautioning you not to propose to rebuild this accessory structure as a residential use.
okay,
Am I clear on that? I mean, you're not saying you can't rebuild the accessory structure, you're just saying you can't
don't
have
make it a
this-
dwelling.
Don't make this a dwelling don't ask us to go give you a permit to make this a dwelling.
It is so overwhelmingly non-conforming that for us to approve anything that would change any of its use from what it is right now, because we're in the process of rebuilding it,
Yeah.
it doesn't give any great license to change the fact that it's overwhelmingly non-conforming.
Understood.
If it had washed out in the flood, and let's be real, it's already flooded.
Yeah.
And the ocean levels don't seem to be going down a lot.
Yeah,
So it's already flooded, it's in a very sensitive area with a lot of other buildings and everything going on around there.
So keep in mind too, you know, for the board's perspective, this is not the first type of property that we have in town that has this issue. There are other properties in town that have multiple cottages on a lot, way back when, and, they became single-family and converted.
Yes.
And in some cases, you know, they did not have, they did not have the lot size requirements necessary to have each as an independent dwelling. And so I can think of one that's right off of, Main Street, where one's a primary, it was converted to a single-family dwelling. And then one was allowed to be an ADU, because they had the necessary requirements. But the third cottage could not be used and habited as a residential occupation because they didn't meet the requirements of the lot. This lot is completely within the shoreline zone and resource protection, and so it is a non-conforming lot, and so we want to be very careful with this use, yes.
And you'd share that, point them at that particular house if that was useful.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds useful.
That's all clear, and our intention will be to get back to the drawing board, make the adjustments to our plan that have been flagged and that we've discussed tonight, and to bring it back in front of you, just as soon as we're able. Again, Brian Bodett is doing the architectural work, and he's now looking at the back building, in light of the fact that we need to adjust the footprint of that, bring it back so that it's not getting any closer to the resource. But with that work, you know, our hope is to be back to you, you know, before too long. I don't think we'll be back in front of you to do another initial review in the month of May, but maybe as early as June, and then if we can get to a completeness determination, get to a public hearing.
And the application was April 1st, so there's a clock that starts ticking from when the application is created. So if it takes longer, you'll have to file an extension for that.
Okay, is that a
I'm sorry-
one?
I'm sorry,
I'm not sure
say it
that's-
again. I thought this is an initial review.
It is.
We haven't found it
We're gonna
complete.
continue the.
Correct,
initial-
Yeah.
thanks. We don't.
Is that
yeah.
when the clock
Just the
begins to
application.
Yes,
run?
once they say it's
Clock begins
complete,
from
that's
Yeah.
when the
Right,
clock
right,
starts
right.
to have a
Sorry,
public
sorry,
hearing.
Yeah.
Been a long day.
Yeah.
No worries.
That's all we have for you tonight. I'm happy to answer any other questions, and just wanted to thank you for the opportunity, and we'll be back.
Sounds like a
All right.
very
You bet. Thank you.
interesting
Okay,
project.
thank you so much.
Can we just, before you leave, questions?
Do you have a specific list of actions that you've agreed to, or?
No.
No. Okay.
Not sure we need it at this
Right.
point, other than
Yeah.
they're gonna come back after addressing the issues that have been flagged in the code office's memo. That's the one overarching note that I've made. Rick, anything?
I'm good.
George? I have two questions. One, in the other notes, section 16 of the planning memo, it says the application does not have the resource protection or flood zone boxes checked.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm seeing, am I looking in the right place? 37 Langsford Road. Shoreland and resource protection, in fact, resource protection is checked and it says partial. So what are we looking at?
Was that
That
related
was,
to the floodplain?
That was a curb cut application.
Could you come to the
Okay,
microphone and
I
introduce
was
yourself?
just,
Thanks.
that little note in that part of the application was for.
And introduce
Oh,
yourself.
I'm Colin Hull. I work with Tom Federley
Hi,
here,
Colin.
on behalf of this application. And, part of, I think, that mistake within the application, or failing to check that box, that was for a curb cut. And we would not need a curb cut because of, if we're not doing the parking off-street. So it's up in the air, or that problem that they flagged might be irrelevant. That's all.
So let's make sure we understand what note 16 is referring to.
Okay, we can clarify that in an updated memo. We'll take a look.
Yeah, okay, all right. But I wonder, I know we've transitioned to a new system of applications, and this seems to be the older format that's in the package I'm looking at. I'm wondering if somewhere in between the new system dropped it, or?
It's,
You know what
this
I'm
may,
asking?
this may just be a staff error. We may have been looking at the curb cut. Well, I'll have to
Oh, okay,
review,
okay.
and go back
Cool.
and take a look.
No worries. One other thing, on this percentage of lot occupied by buildings, other impervious, exterior footprint, I haven't spent the time to go through in detail the package here, but we will be interested in it's worth paying attention to the coverage in the resource protection zone versus the coverage in the shoreland zone versus the coverage if there's some area that's not in either one of them.
Okay.
And being able to slice and dice that, obviously, there's a degree of compliance here
Yeah,
that may be useful to understand.
okay. And I think, and we'll confirm, that there's actually gonna be a net decrease in lot coverage, especially if we're removing the parking pad.
So-
But I understand your,
So my point is, you could do that.
Yep.
But you can't do it by increasing the
Under-
percentage in the resource protection zone.
Understood.
The lot is
Understood.
entirely in resource protection and
Yes.
shoreland zone.
Yes.
Flood zone.
Oh, so where this says partial, that's not really true.
And it's too close to the road.
Okay, so it's all in
And
resource
that too.
protection.
That's right,
Forget about it, I'm
So-
making it more complicated than it needs to
needs
be
to.
then.
okay.
All right.
Last question about that outbuilding. Is there electricity to that?
There has been
There has
electricity
been.
to that,
Okay,
yes.
but there isn't
Well,
now.
there certainly could.
I don't know whether there
Okay.
is now. There certainly isn't a light that you can flip
Okay.
a switch and turn
Yeah,
on.
all right.
Yeah,
I may have asked that, but I just
Yeah.
want to check. Thank you.
yeah.
Is there anyone who is aching to be the case manager on this one?
I'll do it.
You want to, John?
Sure.
Thank you, John.
What does that,
That means one of us is going to take the responsibility for leading the questions, for keeping track of action
Yeah.
items, and maybe in the end, giving the best scrutiny to the findings of
Yeah.
fact, and just so everybody doesn't have to own everything.
it's a good.
Doesn't mean any more than that.
It's good policy.
all equally aggravating to you. Thank you for
All
your.
right, thanks again. I appreciate your
Thanks for
time.
your help.
Can't get off the Lansford Road.
I will move on to the next item on the agenda this evening is SP 26-0013, number 42 Langsford Road. And again, this is an initial review.
Hello, my name is Alan Zulo. I am the incoming owner of, we have rebranded to Coastal Maine Outdoors this year. We were Coastal Maine Kayak and Bike. Last year we were Coastal Maine Hike and Bike. Because we keep changing things, we decided to go with outdoors and just be done with it. So, a little bit of a backstory. I'm gonna kind of differentiate who we are from the other kayak shop in town as well, just so that there's no confusion. And then I'll share what our plans are, and please feel free to ask questions at any time. So we've been in business since 2009. Teresa Willett is the founder, and she started off by offering kayak tours and bicycle tours, kayak rentals, bicycle rentals. Through the years, she grew to actually, from 2009 up until the storms in '24, we were running kayak tours out to Goat Island Light on a regular basis every summer. At the storms of '24, as everybody's aware, the town rebuilt the causeway and we lost our launch site, just lost the launch site. Teresa spent some time looking for different locations. We weren't allowed to launch from the town launch, which we are now looking to launch next door to the town launch. But we couldn't find another spot, so she shut down the kayak tour part of the business. On top of that, we shut down the kayak rental part of the business as well at the same time, and that cost us about 60% of our annual income. So last year was our technically second season without kayaks. At the end of the season, I brought kayaks back, so we started giving kayak tours from the grist mill and from Seagrass Lane down on the Kennebunk side of the river. We started hiking tours last year, and we continued with our biking tours and our bike rental business as well. And this year, so the end of the season last year, I was delivering some bicycles to the lot next door to the town launch, and saw that John Green had his building up for sale, 42 Langsford Road, and light went off, said, oh, maybe we can get over there. So I went and looked at the property and decided I couldn't afford that, so I let it go. And then I think I went back to look at it again a little bit later, and it had expired, and went and talked to John, found out that he hadn't sold it, and approached the idea of leasing us a little bit of the property so that we could store our kayaks there and launch kayak tours from there. John thought it was a good idea. He had me reach out to Frank Orr, the harbor master, to make sure that that was all good. I reached out to Frank Orr on a Friday, and on the Monday I got a call from Mr. Weibly. So that's why we're here now, talking with Mr. Weibly, going through all of the rigmarole that we needed to. He finally told me that we're gonna go in front of the planning board, so I'm here, thank you. Like I said, there are two kayak businesses in town. One does rentals, one now does tours only. To differentiate, and a little bit of a background, in 22 or 23, we bought a bus to bus people down to the kayak launch, because it made it easier than trying to have them meet us down at Cape Porpoise, since there's no parking down there anyway. And to show that we have a little bit of a history of traffic management as well with this. So we bought a bus, I'm sure many of you have seen it. It was a white bus with orange trim everywhere. It had a big blue sign that said kayak bus. That was us. The other show in town is, white Cadillac Escalade that drives a trailer around with a bunch of, kayaks on the back. That is not us. We're separate from that. So we are only doing kayak tours at this point. Last season, Sandy Pines had heard that we were bringing kayaks back, and they asked if we could step in when the other guy left town for the end of the season, and I wasn't able to get insurance for kayak rentals, so no need to do kayak rentals or anything, and no concern about us trying to rent kayaks out in Cape Porpoise Harbor. That's a liability I don't want on my head anyway. So we are doing kayak tours only at this point. So the proposal is that John Green will lease us a small portion of his property to store our boats, to have 2 parking spots, one for our new tour bus if we get the okay, and one for one of our guides' cars. So 2 spots in his current parking lot. For other cases that people might want to get down there a different way, we'll offer renting them bikes, and they can ride their bikes down. John will also let us have a little bit of space to park bikes on his property as well. I don't see a need to have anybody drive down there. If they must, we're not gonna let them park down near us. They're gonna have to park at the head of Langsford Road, in the, where the public parking already is, possibly in Fireman's Park. I've talked to, there were 11 private abutters on the 200-foot abutters list. I've included all of the comments that I could from everybody who gave me permission to include those comments with my application. As you could see, most of them were either neutral or positive. There's one that hasn't gotten back to me. I've been in touch with them via text. I've seen they've read the text, but they haven't responded. So of those 11, there was one who was negative, everybody else was positive, and I did have a couple of good conversations with them about parking, and I'm sure you've read some of that as well, or can read some of that. And it was brought, a couple of ideas were brought up, that possibility of working with Keith Noonan at Noonan's Lobster Hut to possibly rent some space during the day before he opens, or, for our customer parking, or work with the town to set up at Fireman's Park as well for some of the opportunity there. The tours will be obviously dependent on the tides, so we can only go at high tide. We try to go out about an hour to 2 hours before high tide and get back an hour to 2 hours behind. Typically it's a 3-hour tour, so we'll be chasing the tides. There are several spots through the season where we can't do that because the high tide is just too far out of the daytime. We've proposed, the earliest that will show up is 7:30 for an 8 o'clock kayak launch, and the latest that we'll leave is 7:30 p.m. For a later afternoon tour.
The latest you'll come back.
Yeah, the latest will come back. So the bus would leave about between 7:30 and 8 at the latest in the evening. And as you know, all the tides shift about an hour every day, roughly 50 minutes. So that'll be kind of a moving target. We currently have 16 boats, 5 tandems and 6 singles. So we have to have registered Maine guides with their sea kayak specialization to guide tours. And we have a few of those, but we only have enough boats to do 1 tour at a time, and we can only take up to 12 people at a time on the water. So it's very limited, and it's going to be a very controlled time.
Say you average about 12 people
Uh,
per tour?
It's so last year we only did September, and we had probably about 2 to 4 people per tour. But it was late in the season, we didn't really advertise it. During the season, I mean, what do you think, Teresa?
If you have any more than 12, and personally I say 10, you get 2 licensed guides.
So no more than 12.
No more than 12 at a time. If we do 16, we'll have 2 guides there. And that would really only be for a private function. And I've got all the neighbors' phone numbers, and I think I've been very good about communicating with them, and I would continue to communicate with them if we do something big like that as well. At this point, I think I've gone through everything with Nadia and Galen, and I think I've answered all their questions nearly satisfactory. The DEP, Galen suggested checking with the DEP, and they said it wasn't an issue since we weren't building anything, we're not adding any structures. At most, we're gonna have a kayak rack sitting on the deck of John's fish market, where the picnic table currently sits, so basically the left-hand side of the building.
So are you going to have a lease with John?
It would,
With the
yes,
fish market?
yes.
So.
Not with the fish market, no.
Oh, but.
We're just
but
gonna
with-
have-
With the land. So what happens, I mean, I know the land has been on the market at some point. What happens if he decides, I'm gonna sell it next week, or?
Well, we try to work with the new owner, or maybe
Okay.
we buy it if we
Okay.
can show that we're doing good enough, you know?
Okay. So anything that we said would be tied to, anything that we agreed to would be tied to a lease, is that
Tied to
accurate?
the assumption that the land was gonna be provided by the owner.
Right, right. So the new owner might say, nice
We
try.
don't have the ability
Hopefully
to-
they don't, but,
To
yeah,
give away the
exactly.
land.
right, right, no,
Yeah,
okay.
that's a
I just
good
wanted to
point.
understand that, yeah.
Exactly. That's a fear.
It's conditional.
No, yeah, it's conditional, and it's a genuine fear that I have, you know, I haven't overlooked that.
So you would store kayaks on the existing deck
Yes,
with some sort of rack?
yes,
So you're not adding to the impervious surface, it's already a deck?
yeah, it's already a deck.
And it's not taking away from any parking from the business, which is required to have a certain number of spots?
Right, no parking.
Okay.
The only thing that's taken away from the parking is when we're there with our guide car and our bus.
So
That
where,
would be
tell
it.
me about this bus, like,
Okay.
where are you getting the people to get on the bus?
So
So I picture the bus coming in with the people
Yep.
that are going on the tour,
Yeah,
and you unloading and parking the bus. The people
Yep.
go off on their tour, they get on the bus, where does the bus take them?
so,
And where do they get them?
so at our shop in the Federal Jacks Plaza.
Okay, so
That's-
you, I
that's
didn't
where
know
we're
that you had a
headquartered.
shop there,
Yeah,
okay,
we
so you
have-
have a meeting spot.
We have a
Where?
storefront in the Federal Jacks Plaza where we have our bike rentals.
Okay.
And we would meet our tour guests there, or we pick them up, at the parking lot out here, free parking.
Okay, so people
And-
that book a tour will know, meet there at,
Yes,
okay.
meet
got
at, you know, this place at
Okay,
X
all
time.
right, good.
So,
And where you'd be launching, the site where you'd be launching?
Yes.
Is there any other marine business activity there right now?
just, John's, the marine rails.
Yeah.
That John is using to
Using for
launch
launching.
boats.
Okay,
Um,
so this is not a change in use, you're
This
just
is
launching
not
a
a change in
kayak
use, we're
instead of
launching
a so-called
kayaks.
boat?
right.
All right,
And we're not even touching, that's a concern because there's an easement for the marine rails.
right?
We're not even touching that. We're gonna go in between the marine rails and the,
And the building.
retaining wall
Okay,
is where we're gonna launch.
and it's not gonna cause any erosion or something that we need
It's
to be
already a
concerned?
cement, it's already a
It's already
cement pad
cement
right now.
pad.
Yeah. So, yeah, no erosion.
It's one of those things where I ask, so what's the planning board do with this?
Yeah, so I was gonna jump on that, and I think that in the planning memo, I think that Nadia and Galen have given us, why is the planning board looking at this? And I think it's because it's in the resource protection zone, and you're gonna run a recreational business out of it, and to do that, it needs to come before the planning board. I'm paraphrasing here, but am I kinda
Yep.
close?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have chapter and verse here, but it says now why do things come before the planning board? This is a little bit unusual. Usually we're looking at, erosion or filling of wetlands, or, this really is taking advantage, in my opinion, of one of the key parts of the planning board, which is the public viewing of the information, and you're coming before you, you're saying, and you're doing a great job of it, saying,
Thank you.
here's what I have in mind, and here's why it's good for me, and here's why it's good for the town, and et cetera, and you shouldn't be worried about it. And then,
Appreciate that.
given that we think that all of the information that we need has been provided, we're gonna open it up to the public at a subsequent meeting and hear from them and say, well, wait a minute, I don't know about this or that, or they can ask their concerns and you can address them.
Okay.
This is a business that, I mean, you've got some activity, right? People coming in and out, but it uses the resource, but it doesn't abuse the resource. In fact, it takes people out and lets them enjoy it and appreciate it and maybe treat it better as a result of that. So I think there's some merit in giving us a good viewing and hopefully finding a way to approve it unless there's a legitimate objection to it, my biased opinion.
Now, is it tied, we had a Goat Island dock on the agenda tonight, and it was tied to this. Is this tied to that project at
This-
all? Or are you guys
this is-
going forward regardless of what happens with that?
I didn't even know about that, to be honest.
Oh.
They're not tied
They're not
together.
tied together.
Yeah.
The Goat Island dock project, that they asked to be postponed, but there's,
Oh,
is
all right, I
also
misinterpreted.
is
I
for,
thought that was the destination for the tour, and that's why they were putting in the dock. Okay,
No, no.
That is the destination for the tour,
okay.
but that is, I think that's Conservation Trust, which is separate
Got it.
from us.
Okay, my misunderstanding. All
And
right.
I have spoken with Tom Bradbury and the Conservation Trust crew, and they, as, I know, I don't think that they can say this on record, but as far as I'm aware, there's no objections, and they like the thought of us promoting the properties.
Okay. All right.
Can you say something about what the business was like when you were launching from the site that's no longer available to you due to the causeway work?
Yeah, why don't you come up, Teresa?
Do you mind? Because I'm imagining that'll be the easiest way for us to imagine what it'll be like, except from a slightly different location.
And introduce yourself, Teresa.
I've probably been a sea kayak guide for over 25 years.
Your name?
Introduce yourself, Teresa.
Teresa Willett,
Hi, Teresa.
sorry. Not used to public speaking.
You're
Yes.
doing great.
But I used to drive the short bus. I think it's only like 22 feet? 23. Yeah, something like that. It's one of the smaller ones. And we pick up people, have them on the reason we got the bus is because it's easier for people to get on and off. And parking was such an issue there that we would drop them off and we would do our tour, launch people in boats, because you probably won't find a more eco-friendly craft. And we would tell them, stay in the cove, don't leave, and put everybody in the boat, and then go around the islands, and I would give a history of the islands and the lighthouse. We'd land, have a little picnic there, come back. And it was a very eco-friendly tour, and people liked it. But myself, I tried to be just respectful. I don't want to take up parking and cause any problems. But we would drop people off with the bus and go back and pick them up. So there was no parking involved.
I
good.
see.
And it just made it flow better too.
I see.
And sometimes we would just drop boats off and then people would come, get in and go.
And where were they parking at that point?
They're parking at the shop in Federal Jocks.
Okay, so you brought
Because
them
they
up the
have
bus then.
actually 2 parking spots there. They have a back lot and we'd have them park out back.
So this is changing in nature a bit, but it's closely related to
Yeah.
that same
It'd be-
adventure.
Yes, less
And-
physically
And what is it
stressful.
about the causeway project that caused you to lose that access?
Well, you couldn't,
I'm not
you can't
familiar
really
with
pull
the
up there now safely,
I see,
you know, because you come around that, that hill and the curve.
yes,
It's iffy,
I
and
see.
I don't want
Okay,
any issues.
That was also a decision,
Yeah.
a request at the
Oh, the owner, the one that owns it. Yeah.
homeowners association there,
Oh, yes,
that there were no more commercial kayak launching
yeah,
there.
as part of the negotiation to make the causeway
Yeah.
Yeah.
what it
Yeah.
turned out to be, okay.
And the
I
town
understand.
backed the homeowners association on that,
yeah.
so.
Lots of things come up in public hearings when people get to voice an opinion. For me, right now, I can't see any problem with it. I'm trying to find a negative, and I don't see one.
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of the inns, they loved it.
Oh,
'cause it
sure.
gave
Of
their
course.
Gave them
people something to do.
As long as you don't have a tree lighting.
No, we don't have a tree lighting.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
No, I have no more I have no questions.
So, do we have a motion that this is a complete application?
I motion.
I would
that
like
this
to.
is-
Did
I
you,
want to
did
check
you,
with the planning office.
Oh, hold on.
yeah,
let-
did you
let's-
go through the memo?
I would like to go through the memo.
I did.
Yeah, I did. I didn't see
Not
anything
even-
that jumped out.
Sure.
Nadia, can you take us through the outstanding concerns of the code office?
Sure, so, I did speak to Alan about some of the comments that we left. I haven't had time to fully review the updated materials. I added them to the SharePoint, I think, yesterday, so we'll review them in the office. A couple of our concerns, we did have some concern about parking. The existing parking, configuration is about 50% on the lot and 50% in the town right-of-way. This is kind of it's not necessarily uncommon for older structures to have some right-of-way, overage, but it is something we wanted to flag for the board, that the proposed parking configuration is partially in that right-of-way.
Can I make a comment about that?
Of course.
So the right-of-way runs about 15 to 20 feet. It appears to run about 15 to 20 feet off the edge of the road, and we will not be anywhere near the road. So I guess that's where I'm questioning. And John's had a truck parked in the right-of-way. Unfortunately, his processing truck has been there for,
Again, we
Here's
see
no
this, we've
problem,
seen this,
so.
and the one that jumps to mind is at the Nonantum, where the front edge of their parking is in the town right away. So we do see this, but I think it's good to flag it and, write down even as a condition that this is gonna, be granted if we do that with the understanding that it's in the town right away, and that if that were to have to be taken back, then that would be a problem.
We did also flag that, it was a little bit vague where the kayak storage and everything would be. I did get some updated plans
Agree
from
with
Alan. I'll review those and update the memo accordingly.
Yeah, I wrote down the dimensions when I was looking at the parking.
Right.
It wasn't quite clear. So, yeah, here's the general area. But when we say a parking spot, is this a 10 by 20, or is it just
so.
to dimension that would be helpful.
Yeah, and my new drawing, I don't know if the new drawing is in there, but I did try to put dimensions on that new drawing. It's a little messy, cause time. But I can re-dimension that if you need me to.
Okay, I'll take a look at it and let you know, and it's on the SharePoint, so you guys can review it,
Thank you.
as well. We did also have a note about adding lot lines to the plan,
I did that.
those are added in as well, okay.
Oh, great.
Again, I'll get that with review.
I will mention that the new drawing, and we talked about this via email, I think. The screenshot or the map that I pulled from is the Axis GL, so it's the state, I think, GIS. And Nadia's picture that she sent me is more recent than the one that I have. So it's the same lot lines and everything, but there's you can see the different locations of the vehicles on the area, and it doesn't accurately the old one that I have doesn't accurately represent the current status of where things are parked and everything, so.
So I'm having trouble understanding where you're going with that. So are you saying
I got an
you
older,
want something from Nadia, or you?
if need be, I can update the drawing more accurately if I can get the screenshot
So
from Nadia.
he's just referring to the satellite imagery.
I'm just looking to walk away with a clear definition of, John's been honest about, what's the action?
Yep,
So
I
what is
think
the action?
for us, the most important thing is that we can see, where the structure is, where the lot lines are. So as long as the satellite imagery
On the same
has,
picture.
yeah, on the same picture.
Yeah,
So
it's a clarity
um,
thing.
and our images are quite clear because we have, we have the aerials done, but I wouldn't say that is, a holding factor for the application, but certainly on the new plan, we can update with the more recent satellite imagery.
Well, you gotta use some judgment as to whether you think this is an issue that's gonna come up in the public hearing too. Do you know how? Is clear enough?
Right, right.
If it's an easy thing to do to make it a little bit clearer and consistent with the images that the code office is using, seems like a smart thing to do. If it's a big deal, then yeah, we can probably get by.
Okay, I can work with Nadia on that.
And then the last comment we have is just about signs, if there's signs proposed for the project. And we've, the barber shop project, we kind of talked about signs that the board is generally comfortable leaving the sign details in the purview of the code office. But if the applicant was proposing signs, we just want to see on the plan kind of a general, the sign will sort of be here, will be about this size.
I also uploaded that this morning.
Perfect.
So I gave you kind of an idea of a sign. It'd be
Yeah.
about 20 inches by about 10, 15 inches.
Okay.
And the only place that we'd put it is right on top of the kayak storage rack, just so people know what are the kayaks there for.
It's not yours, this is
Yeah,
mine. Yeah,
exactly. And where to call if they want to take a tour also.
of course.
That's all of the comments that we have from the staff side. As Galen and I were reviewing the application, we also did want to remind the board you can always include a site visit in your reviews. This was kind of confusing for us to look at just because to wrap our heads around how are the kayaks getting in the water, where is the kayak storage on the lot. If it's confusing for you guys as well, we can certainly schedule a site visit to go over.
I think we're gonna have to do it from the water though.
We can do that.
We'll book a tour.
A question I
We
had,
can take a ride.
Alan, and it's not in the memo, but I'm looking from a GIS perspective, and I don't look from the ground level on this, but, is there a reason why you decided to go on the side to launch the kayaks versus using the existing float on the property?
The existing
Is there a
float.
float on the back end?
Oh, you're talking about the deck?
Yeah,
Yeah, because John is not allowing us to use the deck out back.
okay.
That's why we're going to the side.
I just thought with the high tide, sometimes it doesn't go high enough up to that structure, if that's where you're unloading.
Right. Well, we can just drag them at that point, so.
You're dragging them,
We'll drag the kayaks back up. Yeah.
So that's kind
Because
of why the
there's an
site
existing ramp there. The ramp is there to currently launch boats down into the water, using the marine rails. And that ramp goes all the way down to the end of the marine rails.
so that ramp is not on Mr. Green's property, and that
There
is.
is an easement, but we're staying off of the ramp. Because the marine rails, I looked at the easement again last night, and it looks like the property line is right at the southernmost rail. And there's still 6 feet, roughly, between the rail and the, retaining wall, thank you. And that's where we're gonna launch, in that area. We'll walk down that way.
Okay, because when I looked at it, it looked like it was only about 3 feet, that's why.
With the cradle there.
Mm.
But John also said that he would splash the cradle if we need to get
That's-
the access.
That's why staff is recommending that you might want to take a site visit, just so you can visually see what they're proposing. Just,
I mean, I have a picture on my phone I can show you too, but that doesn't enter into public record, I see.
I'm okay with a site visit.
Would you want a site visit, guys, or you wanna just take a?
I have visited.
No,
I was gonna say, we can drive, we
almost
drive
every
down
day.
there.
I could drive by.
Yeah.
And
right across the street
We will
is
drive,
37, so you
so
can
we
see that
will
one, too.
individually drive by and take a look, so we don't look quite as blank at your words, but I'm taking your point.
individually only. Don't go at the same time.
I'm riding my bike.
No.
If we do, don't acknowledge each other.
Right.
Yeah, okay,
you don't exist.
we're not being rude, we're just being
Yep, yep,
politically correct.
understood.
There are openings on the planning board.
Right, so,
I live in Biddeford. Sorry.
are we correct? We've gone through the concerns that were raised. I think we covered why this is before the planning board, because this is something that's explicitly called out as something that needs to come to the planning board. And with that, I would propose that this is a complete application.
A second?
Yeah, before I didn't hear any actions except that Nadia and Alan are gonna make sure that the drawings that they use to match each other.
Right,
Is
so
that right?
I've received the updated materials from the applicant, so I'll go through, I'll update the memo. I can get that out either this week or early next week.
So assuming that you agree that Alan has provided what you asked for, he's complete now, right? Is there anything there? I don't hear anything else.
Right.
Right, and he's been very prompt and,
Yeah.
and quick to work with, so even if there's outstanding comments, I feel confident we can deal with them before the next meeting.
So we're gonna give him, the proposal is to give him preliminary approval, or what?
No, it's to say it's complete.
The application is complete.
Schedule it for a public hearing.
Ah,
So the question we need to ask ourselves, is there anything that we're looking for that isn't there, that's needed for the public to look at before they come to a public hearing?
is that the
And I'm-
motion then? Is there anything else?
That this is complete.
This is complete.
That's what it means to
Okay.
me, to be complete, that it's
All right.
ready to go in front of the public.
Agreed. Okay, understood.
Pending the outstanding issues in the memo, which we will.
Which are
Right.
being, that's right.
Which are really for us
Agreed
now
to be
to
addressed.
confirm.
That's right.
Right.
Before we wrap up with this, Dave just let me know, there is a hand raised on Zoom. Just wanna, state for the record, this is an initial review, not a public hearing. So this is not an opportunity for the public to comment on this application.
That's correct, and add to that, if there is a concern that, you want to contact the code office with, I think that would be welcomed, either with an email or a visit
Correct.
on
Yep.
this. if
Or
you need
with
to get,
Alan directly as
Yeah.
well.
so to
with me
speak, get your
directly.
oar in the
Small town
water
life.
ahead of time.
Very good.
I have one more question. You said you had 10 abutters, or 11 abutters, 10 of them were positive and one was negative?
Yes.
What was the negative?
It didn't illuminate.
Personal reasons?
No technical ordinance based? Okay, thank you. All right, so,
And
Again, I'll-
that is in the
It's in the
packet
email,
as well.
I didn't see it.
It's one of the texts.
Okay, I'll look again.
So
Thank you.
I'll make my motion again, that this should be considered a complete application. Is there a second for that?
I second.
All those in favor?
So public hearing the 20th.
Yes.
And do we have a case manager?
We do not.
I'll do it.
Oh, thanks, Rick.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Elegant solution. This is an elegant solution.
Okay.
Next item, SP 26 0015, 122 Ocean Ave, initial review.
Hello, my name's Robin Muir. I am here to help Sunny out with this process here. We're updating the Port Lobster, modernizing the interior, rearranging it a little bit, make it a little bit more user-friendly, customer-friendly.
Can I just ask, I know the applicant is Mr. Natarajan.
Yep,
How are you,
I'm,
I've seen you before.
yeah.
How are you
I'm-
tied into this?
Well, he talked me into coming up here and laying this out for you, so.
So you're part of the organization?
Well, we work together. I'm a
Okay.
contractor, I do work for Sunny, I'm helping him out with this.
All right, thank you, Robert.
Done a lot of work in the area, just kinda,
Just trying to,
I'm just a nice guy, just came in here off the street and told Sunny I'd help him out.
so you say. Yeah, all right.
So,
Remember the last guy who said that?
just for clarification purposes,
Okay,
Sonny, did you give a letter of authorization for him to speak on your behalf?
no, you didn't.
When I asked about the letter
I
of
know you did-
authorization,
you did ask
we,
about it.
we're,
I
we're
mean-
told that Sunny would be presenting, so you will need to give us a letter of authorization.
So could we just have, Sonny, could you go up to the podium and just say that you authorize
There you go.
him to be your agent and you will give us a letter?
I do authorize Robin to be an agent.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right.
The last minute thing, so, thank you.
Yes.
So again, basically renovating the interior, moving the kitchen and the retail space, basically swapping it one side to the other. The fish processing area, which is in the back. Yeah, that area is not changing really. We're not changing that area at all. And another thing I noticed when I was, I visited yesterday, there was a question in regards to clarification of the rear area, which said kitchen, and I put storage next to it. And I went back and I looked at it further, and it really is fish processing. There is no kitchen out there. There's a hot water maker. There's a freezer in the back, in the very back. That's all been there before. There really is no cooking going back there. It's all fish processing and storage, I guess. If we just put it as, listed it as fish processing, it'd probably make.
You were cooking lobsters and had
Not,
chowder, right?
not in that back room.
Not in the back room, okay.
No, that happened in the fish processing area where the old kitchen was.
Okay, thanks.
Which is still gonna happen. It's gonna shuck, you know, that area will still be for fish processing, shucking and, you know, boiling and et cetera. And the kitchen area is gonna be just for cooking, and there'll be takeout.
So you're.
No dining on site. This is all takeout. You know, you can still get the lobster there and, you know, do it the same old way. I just think the layout's gonna be a lot easier for people to be able to, I mean, I go there quite a few times in the summer. I know a lot of the guys a lot of the fishermen, so I go there quite a bit, and every time I go there, I'd walk up to the front of the store and be like, I wasn't sure if I would go in by the concrete tank, or should I go in this door over here, you know, it was kinda confusing, so people that aren't from here. This is gonna make it a lot more easier, I guess.
I just want to clarify on the retail, still
Yes.
selling fish, right?
Yeah,
You're not moving over to T-shirts or something?
no.
I know you got some taffy and lemons and a bottle of wine.
I think we do have bottled wine.
Yeah, I know,
Why-
but you're not
No,
selling books.
So actually, it's the same what Alan was doing before,
Yep.
after.
yeah.
We just modernized it, cleaned it up nice.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, issues that we fixed it and.
Paint those
cleaned
glass
up,
garage doors.
I tiled it so it
Tile
stays
all the
longer.
walls.
Oh.
Wall the tile, epoxy the floor.
Okay,
New
Cleaned
kitchen.
it up, so everything is interior, I just repositioned a few things in terms of the retail, and we are adding a little bit of, food that we were doing lobster rolls and all that, we're still having all that, we're having fresh fish, lobsters, shucked lobsters and everything, as usual, and we're not doing anything outside other than painting the building.
are you, you're just painting the building, are you expanding the retail space?
Well, everything is internal.
The retail space is being expanded.
Retail
Yeah,
space is being expanded.
But in the building,
Within the building,
nothing
the
outside.
retail, the
Yeah.
space used for retail is being changed from what it currently is. So our current interpretation of how the building is used is that pretty much the entire thing, except for that front entrance that used to be there with the little shop and the counter and everything, was fish processing. And now that place where there used to be the big tank and the garage doors will be retail, and the rest will essentially be either fish processing or kitchen space.
So, can we ask you to provide a before and after by use?
Yeah.
Yes, we
This
do
plan-
have a before and after.
The plan here.
I have a letter that has what I think is the after. 998, 385, 726, and 170.
The proposed use,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's this,
This is the existing. This is the proposed.
Yeah.
That's the two.
so Nadia,
All right, so hold on, Gail's helping me see on the drawing here that we have a before and after layout. If I look at that, and I'm trying to make that work with what Robin was just saying, that the fish processing, the kitchen really is fish processing, and I got all confused on that too. If we have 4 things that are going on today. I'll enumerate them: retail, fish processing, kitchen, and storage, okay? I know that afterwards, there's words that tell me that this retail's gonna be 998 square feet, fish processing 385, kitchen 726, storage 178.
That number, those numbers, just to be honest.
No, that's good.
Are we gonna have to modify them because that back room is gonna be fish processing?
That's right. So, and it may be that you're gonna consolidate kitchen and fish processing, or whatever it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I want another column on that that's extracted from this drawing that says, here's the before number. If retail is now 998, whatever it ends up being, what was it before?
Right.
It went from this to that, and that's gonna lay into, what do you think?
Well, I think it's,
Parking.
Me and Nadia
Right.
did that already, kind of.
Cool.
But I was gonna do all this stuff, I just came in to see Nadia the other day, and she said, just wait, and we'll do it after with the meeting, and, we'll clarify.
This is what you get for being a nice guy, see?
I'm telling you,
Yeah. It happens all the time.
I even went in and personally made sure.
No good deeds.
So if I can clarify quickly from staff perspective, where we are with parking, I know that
'Cause
that's
it's gonna
gonna be
lay
the
into parking,
biggest
right? Of
concern.
course.
So, the proposed retail space is a little bit under 1,000 square feet,
A little
which
bit,
would
yeah.
require 5 parking spaces, because we require 1 parking space for every 200 square feet of retail space. So at 997, we need 5 spaces. There are 7 existing spaces on the lot, so the only parking concern would be depending on how many employees are on the largest shift. So there's a maximum of 4 employees allowed based on the parking that is available on the lot currently. So that's kind of where we are with parking. Fish processing, storage, and kitchen space do not have their own parking standards in our ordinance. The retail is the only one that we are using the square footage of to calculate how many parking spaces are
Right,
required.
But the number of employees at the site is what's driving
And
that.
that's for both uses.
I was
The-
gonna say whether they work in
Correct.
fish processing or at the front
Correct.
counter.
If they're
box
working in
space.
the building,
Yeah.
then there can only be 4 of them at any given time.
Understood.
Is that the whole
Having
basis
that-
for us reviewing this, by the way, is, number of parking spaces?
Any commercial use is gonna come to the planning board, so this is, it seems
And then
like a
it gets
small change, they're
evaluated
just reconfiguring the inside, but
Yeah,
it is a change of use, the use is changing where it is in the building, and it's commercial, so, commercial, pretty much by and large, is going to be in front of the planning board, even if it's a small project.
is it really change of use or change of capacity?
It's the changing
Change of
the amount of
capacity, I
square
thought.
footage
The-
that's devoted to each of the.
The uses that are present,
Retail is different from the processing.
the uses that will be present
actually,
are
the
the
thing
same
was-
as the uses that are currently present, but the space in which those uses are being conducted is different. So-
what you mentioned about the capacity is what
Change
I
of
think
capacity is what you're
that's
talking
what is correct, but, I guess the town also has their ordinance to follow, so I cannot, fight that, but issue will be that I feel that we have a retail there before,
Oh, yeah.
and we had, everything there, we are not doing anything unusual other than a little bit of space change here and there to fix it within.
Well, what Nadia said is that it leads you to the only thing that's left is capacity for parking, because the capacity changed. You didn't change the use,
Yeah,
but
Didn't change
somehow
the
the
nature.
capacity, is, tied to number of cars it must be there.
I
Well,
don't
I
know,
just wanna-
I don't know that the use hasn't changed, because I don't know what the before number is for retail.
Well, yeah, just to
Just to be
clarify
clear.
that a little bit, the numbers didn't change a whole lot,
Okay.
actually. So if you look at the kitchen spaces that were there previously,
Yep,
and what's after, that's probably, yeah.
I was looking to make it easy
But
on
I'm gonna
myself,
make-
I was
I'm
just
gonna do
looking for
that.
the number before and
I'm
after.
gonna give it to Nadia, I'll do it
And
before and
Nadia,
after.
Nadia cut me off at the pass, basically saying, even if it doubled, they still have enough parking spaces, Ed, so
Right.
Right.
worry.
We had a
Which is
retail
great.
outlet on Mills Road, and they expanded from some of their warehouse square footage into retail square footage, enough so that it forced them to have more parking, and they came up with a plan for that.
Right.
I don't think that's the issue here.
It Doesn't appear to be.
We should be good.
Can, if you have to limit the number of employees to 4, so that there leaves 3
Yeah,
spaces?
so we will do 2 shifts, so shuckers will come early morning, when the retail is closed, so we know how to play with that.
Isn't that the issue then?
Yeah,
Nadia?
maybe 4, anyway.
Parking is tight down there.
We wouldn't have many more than 4.
You
Where is
know,
it?
what can I say?
I haven't done a job down here that
I
wasn't.
have to,
We'll get them parking out back in the breakwater.
For employees, so we discussed that.
Sorry.
I don't have any other questions, other than the waivers that are mentioned in here. Signage, lighting, that kind of thing.
Can we ask the code office, Nadia, perhaps, are there issues that you want to highlight on this planning memo?
Yeah,
Of
so
course.
Robin touched on this briefly. There is the kitchen/storage space in the back or potentially fish processing. We would like to see that be clear what that space is being used for. You know,
so,
if-
I just wanna, what it is. So when we bought the place, right, there was an electric oven there, electric heater.
Yeah.
Like a cooker, electric cooker. And I was not comfortable having that, so I took it out, because I want a real kitchen, so we have. So the issue will be that space in the back, I have a sink, and if you have to cut any fish or something, we can cut in the room. And then there is a walk-in freezer.
Yeah.
So, and then there's a hot water heater thing, that's all there is there. There's nothing unusually, different there.
Right. I don't think that we have concerns of that. Like I don't have a concern about it being used as a kitchen, but we want it clearly marked on the plans so that
Yeah, we
if
just
we're
mentioned that today, I think
I'll revise
Right.
that.
he revised
so
that.
yeah.
I'll-
So in a
I'll round it up for
revision,
you.
so just it's just for our benefit. If this ever comes back to planning board or something, we can see what was there
Yeah, sure.
before
No, I'm
and
gonna
it's clear.
clarify all this, plus I'll
Great.
put the, before and after cut, as
Yeah.
far as square footage
And,
usage.
we,
Um,
had them come there, it was very nice of them to come over and, showed them the property, what we have done, so.
And then one more detail that we'd like to be added to the plans is just a summary of the upstairs space.
Oh, yeah.
That's
No
an
changes.
office.
Right, so just, add that in,
Okay.
that office, and
Yeah, right here.
just remember that any employee working in the office does count as one of those 4 employees
That's right.
working on
Yeah,
the
that's
site.
fine.
Yep.
And then, the last thing, we are proposing a condition to be
I'm
added.
sorry, Nadia, but did you want the upstairs space to be drawn out?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna,
Mhm.
we'll do a floor plan.
Great.
More of an
It's
up
attic,
there
it's
now.
like an attic space.
There is a floor plan for this already in the property file. So I would just take a look at that, and if it's changed, then just mark that up. But if it's staying the same,
The upstairs, I'm not touching anything.
Yeah, it's like an
Okay.
attic space, really, the ceiling's like.
So when you say you'd like a summary of it, is that in Word, in a text block, or you?
Similar to how the plan for the downstairs area is shown, just a note on the plan what that space is used for, and a plan showing what what the floor plan is. So it sounds like you're ready to do that. And-
Furniture location isn't needed, I mean, or anything like that.
Right, we don't need to see
How
where
you
the
use
desk
it
is
as a
located,
space.
but if it's, a room
the
is used as
record.
an office, just a note that it's an
I'll
office.
show the office space and then the storage
Perfect.
separate.
And then we also are proposing a condition, it gave Galen and I a little bit of consternation, we couldn't decide if takeout was a retail or a restaurant use, but we decided since there are no seats that we're happy to count it as retail. But as part of that, we would like a condition in the findings that seating is not allowed unless unless the property owner comes back for further site plan review.
That's fine. We're not, I'm not interested at all in the seating there.
Takeout only,
Takeout.
Yeah.
We've got takeout now.
It is,
It
it always has been, yeah.
only.
Always, it's been a
Like come get your
takeout.
bugs.
And to be
go.
clear, that includes outdoor seating as well as indoor
I
seating.
just come up with a new line for you. Get your bugs and bug out.
I said, and to be clear, that includes outdoor and indoor seating.
There is no outdoor
There's
seating
a
there
T-shirt,
anyway.
then change to retail.
Yeah, there you go, that too.
It's a good T-shirt, though.
That's a good t-shirt prop. Yeah, I just come up with a good one. You didn't hear that, did you?
I might take it. Holmes is instead of.
Clarify that in the condition as well, that this is being approved as takeout, no seating indoor or outdoor.
Okay, and I did have a question. We received a sign permit from you a while ago for the 2 signs, and then when we met with you at Port Lobster, you mentioned that you were only planning on having 1 sign. Are you not planning any changes to the signage?
Well, the sign what we got approved on, then you had a doubt with the 2 names. So I said, that's fine, I will just put one name, Port Lobster, that's it.
So I just wanted to clarify
Yeah,
for
that's
the
fine.
application, are you proposing to change the sign location
No, that's
or
only
anything?
one sign we're gonna add.
So it's gonna, the existing sign is gonna stay where it
Yeah.
is, okay.
You're not saying
Whatever
you
we
can't
got
change the
approved, I mean,
sign,
I don't
you
know.
just wanna know what it,
We had done a sign approval from them, so we're gonna follow that, that's all.
Okay,
Nada, you're not saying he can't change the sign, you just wanna know what he's gonna change it to.
right, we just,
There's no
as,
re-
you know,
There's not a
We
restriction
had
on it.
got an
It's-
approval from, I think, for the sign.
Okay.
right, and then no outdoor lighting changes,
Existing lighting, there's nothing else there, what was there, we're just gonna put a new light there, that's all.
okay. That's all the
With the
comments
sign.
that I have.
So, I'd like to propose to continue this initial review pending the update of the plans. Is that sufficient to
I
you?
have one request though, see,
Yes.
we are in the summer season, and, we have a public hearing on the 20th.
Well,
Any way she can submit, we can sit with her tomorrow or whatever, get that done, so at least we can go to the
I'll
public
ask the
hearing.
advice of the code office. Do you think these are straightforward enough that you'll be able to come to agreement straight away? That the plan updates are met?
Depends how quickly he can get them in.
Yeah, I can do it. I mean,
I'll get those to you tomorrow, no problem.
So given that, I would say that condition on those materials being provided this week to the code office, then we would say this is a complete application pending the delivery of the,
Yeah, I think that's
You okay with that?
fair.
Yeah.
If he provides the following things, we would consider it complete, and the public hearing can be done.
right, so let's see if we can enumerate those again. We're talking about the before and after
Yep.
on space.
Yep.
And quantify square footage, you said.
Yep.
Right? No.
Say that again?
You said you wanted to quantify the square footage.
Yes, of the 4 different areas: retail, fish processing, kitchen, and storage.
And the attic space.
And then add
The second-
information describing and detailing the use of the attic space to the same level as the others.
Yep.
And 3 is as a condition for approval, it'll be 4 employees parking.
Yeah?
Right.
Yeah.
At any time.
And
no-
takeout
and no seating.
only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
With that, we agreed that this is I would propose this is a complete application.
Is that a
That's
proposal?
that is a motion.
A motion?
I'm proposing a motion.
Second.
In favor?
Right.
Sounds like a plan, and this
All right.
week,
We'll
next
see you
couple
in
of
2
days,
weeks.
you'll
Tricia better be happy about that, I can tell you.
Now, is it get a bug and bug out or grab a bug and bug
Do we
out?
have to do a site visit to?
Is it get a bug and bug
Just-
out or
just
grab a
location?
bug and bug out?
I think it's just bug,
You
period.
can do a tasting.
Get a bug and bug out?
Bug, get your bugs and bug out.
Get your bugs and bug out.
It's a new t-shirt.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You can do a
Case
tasting.
manager for this
You can
one?
get a tasting done,
He's
then
already
you can
thinking
approve
about
it.
it. He's probably gonna have ready
You're-
for the press, start pumping t-shirts out. You better.
Walk by the
Shall I take the case manager on this? Is that okay? Sure. We're just trying to be fair here.
Thank you, Jim.
You all set?
Have a good night.
All right, guys,
Yep.
take
Good work.
Have a good one.
Salty acres.
Oh, it's 8 o'clock.
We have another item on the agenda this evening. Item number 5, SUV F, subdivision final, 2026-0001 for the Salty Acres subdivision. This is a continued public hearing. What do you have for us?
Hi, everyone. Well, we have 2 plan boards tonight, so you get the double view, which is very fancy. I don't have much of an update, primarily here to say that we did what we said we were gonna do at the last meeting, which was submit everything that we had talked about, which has been submitted. We are showing the updated road with the fire chief's sign-off and his suggestions that we talked about at the last hearing, so that is shown on the plan set that was submitted to you and that we're showing here tonight. We also submitted finalized documents for the right-of-way easement declaration and the bylaws that included the changes that we talked about, both with the fire chief and with this board. So those have been submitted as well. I think where we are at is that we have submitted plans that hopefully have addressed everything that everybody needs. We're happy to answer questions. And just a reminder that we had gotten all of our state permits. Those will need to be revised if this plan is accepted, so we're looking for an approval tonight, but with the condition that we get those state permits.
Sure, yep.
Yes, they've been submitted.
Yep.
We just haven't gotten the official sign off yet.
And what are those permits that have been applied for?
Yes, it's the DEP permit for the wetlands and the Army Corps of Engineer permit that goes along with that. Yep.
What kind of timeline you expect on that?
They've been submitted, so what do you think, 30 to 60 days? I'll let Rob tell you.
I know you're guessing here, but.
Rob McSorley with Sebago Technics. We've talked with the reviewer from the DEP. He's gonna try to fit it in there and get it turned around for us really quick. We have not heard back from the Army Corps, but since the changes are major, I think it's just a paper thing. So we expect probably within the next 30 days.
I pulled a Jim Logan and jumped right in and didn't introduce myself. So for the record, Rob reminded me when he introduced himself.
You're not Jim Logan, are you?
I'm not Jim Logan. I am Alex Monastero on behalf of Chimberg Builders.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we ask the code office? You didn't give me a package with 4 memos in it. This wasn't one of them tonight.
Right, I had no updates to
No
the
more
memo.
changes.
Mhm.
Are there any outstanding issues from your point of view?
As far as I'm concerned, no.
Okay.
Me neither.
What about from the board? Any questions or comments at
No,
this
I
point?
think, no.
I would just say, did you receive there's several actions in the minutes?
Yep, we received all the outstanding
did.
items.
Okay.
Can we open the public hearing then? Is there anybody here in the audience who wishes to speak? Is there anybody online?
We have 4 attendees, but no hands raised.
We did get a butter correspondence for you all. I think it's in the shared drive for that.
Mhm,
We
it
pulled
is,
it up.
but it's also in the. The abutter correspondence was reiterating the abutter concerns from the last meeting, specifically referring to the road maintenance agreement and potential impacts to the existing lot based on proposed improvements to the subdivision area.
And I think he actually spoke to that at a previous
Correct.
public
Yep.
hearing. So no
Mhm.
changes from that position, only,
I did not see any new
just
concerns.
continued
Just
concern and-
continued, yep.
I understand. Okay. Well, with that, if there's no hands raised, we'll close the public hearing. And any motion from the board? Who's the case manager?
I am,
Ms.
and
Georges?
I do want to read through just a couple of things
Yeah,
that are in the
please.
most recent butter correspondence. Things they were looking for clarification on is how the board is evaluating the long-term reliability of the proposed homeowners association structure. The long-term,
I think we're not.
we can't, it's no, that's a.
I think we're seeing standard practice being followed, though. This is in line with other homeowners
Yep.
agreements that we've approved and
And it's
are in
agreement
place
between,
across the town.
between homeowners. If they amend that, then it's part of the homeowners association. Number 2, how long-term impacts to existing users of Salty Acres Road are being assessed, including safety, maintenance, responsibility, and potential future upgrades. Again, I think that's a factor of the homeowners association and how they decide to do that.
Well, I think we did actually, think about that as
Yeah.
we talked about the construction of the road and the use of the road and the turnaround and all of that, but beyond that, no.
That's just the nature of any subdivision. 3, what enforcement mechanisms are in place to ensure long-term stormwater system performance and how failures would be addressed?
Yeah, again, that is covered. There's a stormwater operations, and maintenance plan that is included. It has been fully designed by a certified engineer. It has been completely reviewed by your town's engineer, and we're
it
getting
is the
state.
responsibility of the homeowners association, which in the beginning will be the developer.
That's right.
And it will transition to the homeowners according to the schedule that's in those agreements, so.
Absolutely.
We did look at that.
And then
And for
last,
and again, just for clarification from the town's perspective as well, when it comes to enforcement of stormwater systems, certainly the stormwater management plan remains in effect. And so something that the town is looking to do proactively in the future is we are going to be trying to send out notifications to the different homeowner associations that do have stormwater management plans to remind them of their maintenance obligations that they have to do each year. And that, might be cleaning up leaves out of a catch basin and sand and sediment collection from time to time. So that's our effort, and certainly, if we receive complaints, we will investigate and enforce if we think that there is a failure of systems in the future.
and there are dozens and dozens of stormwater systems in this town.
There is a lot.
4, whether the proposed easements or utility provisions allow for any future connections or additional development beyond what is currently proposed.
Yeah, and again, this application is just for the
No.
creation of these 3 lots. If there was ever to be any future subdivision out there, that would have to have its applicable permits.
And-
Yeah.
And
You
they
already-
would be evaluated on their merits.
Right.
And it would come back to the planning board for your review.
Exactly, and you had already
Right.
approached us about doing 4 properties,
Yes, and we're down to 3. Yeah.
down to 3. All right, I don't have any other questions.
What were you reading?
This is a letter from the abutter which came in
Okay.
the day before
I
yesterday.
thought you had like a
It's in the packet.
checklist or something.
No, it's all up here, John, all up here.
Just being a good case manager.
I think so.
Mediocre case.
Do we have a motion, Mr. Case Manager?
I'd make a motion to, where are we? This is the final
Approve.
subdivision, to approve this application.
I would
I'll second, okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Boom.
Good work.
Thank you
Well
very
done.
much for your
Hard
time
work.
over
Thanks,
the
thanks
last.
for your patience and
Hard
Long road.
the way you worked with the town organizations. I know it was a lot of work.
No, our pleasure. It's always,
You did it well, thank you.
yeah, good to
And
get
to
to meet
clarify, that approval was also for the waivers that were,
you.
And
Yeah.
The
Including
waivers
all of the
and
waivers.
some caveats too, right?
you have
Yes.
findings in.
Yes, I do have the findings.
which will be
here.
further enumerated in the findings of fact.
Clarified.
You wanna, this is the draft findings. Certainly take a look at it. I know you all have not had time, but there should list all the waivers there if you'd like to use that as a reference point.
Yeah, so just to enumerate them here, waiving the high-intensity soil survey,
Yep.
the hydrogeologic assessment, conformance with land use waiver,
Is it the same as-
sorry.
for
you have
the
it? Oh.
filling
it's
in
the
of
date,
additional
it's the date.
wetland, it was approved by the fire chief and the board. Impact on groundwater quality and quantity, and traffic conditions. They requested waivers of the travel width, which was a long, hard thing, but with the fire chief's approval and your very creative work, I think you've come up with a good solution. I think you have.
Thank you all for your help through this, especially, yeah.
Let me just be clear. Nadia, you're proposing this is ready to read this evening?
Yes, Galen and I, we feel good about this findings of fact. If you, as you're reading, if you have any issues, we can certainly,
I did, you put this on the thing today, I read it, right?
yes, we
Yeah,
did,
it's very
but we
short.
did make some last minute updates to the actual text portion, but the conditions have remained the same.
Okay.
I will read the findings of fact, unless we got something else on the
Should
agenda.
we sign these? Oh, wait.
Wait till it's read.
Just a moment. So we've approved this. We thank you. We're gonna read these as part of our next item on the agenda, other business.
Would it be helpful for us to stay for that?
So
in
they
case
have to
there
be
are questions?
notarized, so we will call you tomorrow to let you know when they can be
You
picked
can
up.
pick them up.
Okay.
Can't grab
So
them
I'll save
tonight,
you
that's
some
all.
time.
They're a pretty
Perfect.
gripping read if you want to stay just for the
Oh.
joy, but
I would love to hear you all read them out loud for the next, 20 minutes.
I'm the
It'll take
fastest
like
reader in the
10.
bunch.
I would,
Come
My
wake-
kids.
We'll come wake you up after.
Wait.
you should hang in there, it's 10 minutes.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you, guys.
Thanks
Thank you,
again,
thank you
guys.
very much.
And good luck with the project. I'm sure it'll go well.
All right, good job.
Let it rip.
All right, with that, we are on to other business. And do we have other business besides the findings?
I have one quick note. We sent out to the board maybe 2 weeks ago an invitation to a Lego game event that we're doing in conjunction with Kennebunk and Kittery. We would be delighted to have all of you board members there at that event. And just wanted to remind you, I'll send out an email reminder as well. That's on May 18th at 6 p.m. in Kennebunk.
At their town hall?
No,
At-
it's in Kennebunk.
At the Kennebunk Town Hall, or where in Kennebunk?
I think it's at the Kennebunk Town Hall.
Is this invite only?
Yes. So we've sent direct invitations.
This is a good time for me to say, I will be overseas from the 13th to the 24th.
Okay, so we'll be sad to miss you there.
Yeah,
I
I will be sad to miss you too.
Also, I was wrong. It's from 4:30 to 6:30, not at 6.
And that's at the Kennebunk Town Hall at 1 Summer Street.
Yeah.
So the case that I picked, he said he was gonna come back in June, so it seemed to fit with my
There you go.
going to Egypt.
Going to Egypt?
Yes.
All right.
Stay
Findings
safe.
back.
Be
Stay
careful,
safe.
man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the plan, huh? All right.
I did have one more thing. I know it's after 8, but you sent out, Galen, an email from, on Snapdragon, I think it was. That was a very interesting. Did we want to make any
Do we need to
mention
do
to that?
anything? I think you just said,
Nope, just an FYI for you.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
The other thing I want to put on your calendar, and we do need a quorum, is May 14th. That is your joint public hearing with the Select Board and the Growth Planning Committee to review, we just go there to hear any public comment, but it's about the land use ordinance changes that are being proposed for the June ballot. And so that is going to be at 6 o'clock. So if I could get confirmation that you will all be there, that would be helpful. I know you're gonna be gone.
That's next Thursday.
Yes, next Thursday. It should be fairly quick. It is just making changes to allow for alternative parking arrangements when it comes to site plan review for your performance standards. So it allows people to submit a parking plan that allows for parallel parking or valet parking.
What time is it?
6 o'clock
6 and
in
where?
this building, right here.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
And is the joint meeting at 6, or is that just the beginning of the select board?
That's when
meeting?
the select board will meet, but it'll be up on the top of the agenda.
Okay,
They want us out of the room. We're annoying.
So that's,
okay.
it should be fairly quick. I
So
don't-
so you're asking, we're being asked, send back a note to Nadia and Galen as to confirm that you're going, or to ask for, send regrets.
You will not be there.
Yes.
but-
You've already sent your regrets.
Yes,
All right.
Yeah.
And Peter won't be there. He's out of commission for the month.
So we need all three of
You
you
need
then.
all 3 of us, so it can,
Yeah, I should be there.
And John, you can always attend virtually too if you'd like. That
Oh.
would be helpful, you know, we need a quorum.
Egypt.
different time zone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
4 in the morning, you'll be up.
you know. Okay.
That would be, okay, so let's move on to read. Is it just the one findings this evening?
That's just the one. Yep.
Go. Town of Kennebunkport, Maine. Planning Board findings of fact and decision. Applicant, Chinburg Properties. Property location, map 24, block 5, lot 6B2. Zoning district, free enterprise zone and Goose Rocks zone. Application type, final subdivision application. 1, project summary. The applicant proposes to create a new 3-lot subdivision with a total of 3 dwellings on a 5.63 acre parcel located at map 24, block 5, lot 6B2 off Salty Acres Road in Kennebunkport. The property is located within the free enterprise and Goose Rock zone and will be served by private septic systems and wells. 2, procedural history. Date of preliminary application 1/21/2006. Date of final application 02/18/2026. Date deemed complete by board 3/18/2026. Dates of public hearings 4/01, 4/15, 5/06/2026. There's a typo. Date of site visit not applicable. Decision date 5/06/2026. 3, documents submitted for review. A cover letter summarizing the project. Planning board application. Kennebunk subdivision application.
There
Agent-
was a Kennebunk subdivision application submitted. That is not a typo.
Okay, all right. Agent authorization, response to comments from town staff on preliminary application, response to comments from Acorn Engineering on preliminary stormwater management plan, ACOE approval for wetland fill, Maine DEP approval, area map showing the parcel, purchase and sale agreement, quitclaim deed, book 7437, page 315. Boundary line agreement, book 15681, page 87. Certificate of good standing from the state of Maine, 200-foot abutters list, submission requirements checklist, IF&W report showing no threatened habitats, Maine Historic Preservation Commission report showing no historic properties affected, Maine Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry report showing no rare botanical features, proposed HOA bylaws, declaration of covenants and restrictions, right-of-way easement and maintenance agreement, cost estimate for the project, soils reports, test pit data for septic systems, wetland delineation report, confirmation of financial and technical capacity, stormwater management report, stormwater systems maintenance plan, reports related to subsurface waste disposal sites, plan sets prepared by Sebago Technics, list of requested waivers, memos from the town staff, 03/11/26, 04/01/26, 04/08/2026. 4, waivers requested. 4-1, there's a quick way of doing this, right? Waivers requested for 415-7.2.d, 10, 415-7.2d13, 415-11.9, 415-11-.12, 415-12.2, 12b2f, and 12b2g. All of these waivers were granted. 5, findings of fact. Right title or interest. The applicant demonstrated a legal interest in the property by submitting a quitclaim deed which was recorded in the York County Registry of Deeds on 20 March 2007, books 15109, page 752, and a purchase and sale agreement dated 1/28/2025 between the owner of record and the applicant. 2, August 15th, 2023, property owners Kathleen Spang authorized Chinburg Development, Inc., including their agents, the Gove Group Real Estate LLC, Sebago Technics, and Michael Cuomo to represent them on behalf of their subdivision application. 3, the units will be equipped with individual fire suppression systems. 4, the board heard concerns from the fire chief and the public works director regarding the requested waiver from the subdivision road standards relating to travel width. The applicant had originally proposed maintaining the existing 15-foot travel width from Mills Road to the proposed cul-de-sac, which would be constructed to the required standard. The fire chief and public works director both expressed concern that the long stretch of narrow travel width would impede emergency vehicle access and future maintenance. The applicant suggested a redesign of the road, leaving approximately 275 linear feet of roadway below the standard. The fire chief was satisfied that this redesign would allow sufficient emergency vehicle access. The public works director did not agree and continued to encourage the board to require the entire roadway to be brought up to standard. 5, the board also heard testimony from Lindsay Sampson and Paul Starita, abutters to the project, regarding their concerns about the project at the 3 public hearings, 4/1, 4/15, and 5/6/2026. The primary concerns noted were related to the travel width of the road, the proposed HOA and road maintenance agreements, and lasting impacts to the area. The board was satisfied with the applicant's responses to these issues and did not expect any long-term negative effects to the property as a result of the approved development. 6, the applicant received Maine DEP approval for the preliminary project proposal on November 18, 2025. The preliminary approval did not include the final road improvement plans approved by the planning board, so the applicant will need to receive additional Maine DEP approval of the revised plan before commencing construction. 6, conclusions and decisions. Decision, in the accordance with Article 7, 8, and 9 of the Town of Kennebunkport Subdivision Regulations and Title 30-A MRSA, paragraph 4404, this application for subdivision approval is approved by the planning board. Conditions of approval pursuant to Article 10.11 and 10.12.e. 1, the applicant must complete construction of the road to the dimensions given on the approved plans before any building permits will be issued. 2, the applicant must receive DEP approval for the final approved plan before any permits can be issued. 3, this approval must be recorded with the Registry of Deeds within 90 days of approval, or it becomes null and void unless an extension is granted by the board in writing. 4, the applicant will comply with all terms and conditions of the Town of Kennebunkport ordinances and subdivision regulations and all applicable federal and state regulations and approval, as well as those specified in the final application, all of which are incorporated herein by reference. sign
Beautiful,
Kennebunkport Planning.
well done.
And rapidly.
I thought it was particularly well-written, and I like it
Was.
that you gave the
Did you write
rationale
it?
for example, in the
No,
description of the permit had to go back
Can I see that?
because.
Oh.
So thanks for
What,
doing that.
this?
I know that
Oh,
takes
yeah,
extra
sign it.
effort.
Our pleasure.
There's a, there are two typos with dates. On the first page, number 4, date of public hearing should be 2026.
Did it say 2025?
It says 206.
Oh,
It just got fat fingered.
so close.
And then copied and pasted somewhere else. Over here, 504, 202, on the third page, bullet number 5, 506, 2026 GL.
Do you want to initial and sign, or do you want to
I-
make an
I
update?
initialed
and
it.
sign?
I would just initial and sign. It's a very minor change.
I agree.
One thing I did note from the notes, that that we said, that it should be clear that, this is a third house. If a fourth house is built, they would have to comply with, town of Kennebunkport road requirements.
It would
right?
be a major revision to a pre-existing subdivision.
Did you want to include that in the FOF?
I don't think so.
I think I mean, that's a standard procedure
Kind
that
of
they
a
would have to
given.
come back for, so I feel like that is probably, doesn't need to be specified.
And John, when they
In
first
the
came with this
findings.
plan, it was for 4 houses, and
Right.
there was no way they could do it.
Well, yeah, so they say now they won't have 4, but
They-
No, it's only going to happen
We already
if,
said they
if
couldn't
our,
have 4.
if our density requirements change, which, you know, down the road, who knows, but that would be it. And with something like that, you might find a change in the road
Yeah, the
as
impediment's
well.
gonna be a 20-foot road.
and sidewalks.
okay, I'm fine. I'm just reading this because this is added to the one I had this afternoon, so,
Okay.
Sorry about that.
yeah, that's fine.
So George and I signed those two. Just pass them down?
Yeah, if John, if you're comfortable with the language,
If you are.
I am.
and just make sure that you all initial those edits as well.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Yeah, this is dates.
Yep, and then before you, on your way out, I'll snag you for the plans.
2-6, and
Okay.
where was the other one?
On the third page, item
Third
5.
page.
So as we can, as we go forward signing those, would it be premature to offer
Another motion?
a motion to adjourn?
I motion we adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, David.
Thank you, staff. Thank you, audio.